5:59 on Friday, May the 1st. I'm Debbie Monterrey, and there's action in D.C. after hundreds of pieces of undelivered mail were found dumped in a vacant lot in North St. Louis this week.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Enchanted Parks is deciding whether to keep Looney Tunes and DC at its new property, Six Flags St. Louis.
We're going to meet with DC throughout the summer.
I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Joe Pott. The Redbirds are back home at Busch Stadium after a road sweep of the Pirates. I've got details coming up in sports.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A cool day today with the sunshine and some clouds at times, the high 61.
Coming up in CBS News, the White House pushing back against today's deadline for Congress to decide whether to extend the war in Iran.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in Washington, where President Trump is facing a key deadline in the Iran war today.
Today is day 60 of the war. The War Powers Resolution requires presidents to seek congressional authorization to continue wars beyond 60 days. But during a Senate hearing yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claimed to Virginia Democrat Tim Kaine that the deadline is still weeks away.
The 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. You're not in. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that.
Most legal experts don't think so either. One says there's no pause button on the War Powers Resolution. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
War-induced gas prices have shot up again today, another 9 cents to an average of $4.39 a gallon. Overall, that's about $1.40 more since the conflict began. A suggestion from AAA's Candace Red.
Look into discounts. There are some retailers like grocery stores that offer fuel discount programs, and even some credit cards offer gas discounts too.
The record 76-day shutdown at the Department of Homeland Security is officially over. Republicans have ended a standoff with Democrats who were demanding changes to immigration enforcement. Correspondent Allison Keyes from Washington.
ICE and Border Patrol aren't included, and Republicans in both chambers are looking to fund them through a process allowing them to pass a bill without support from Senate Democrats.
Even though the president stepped in to pay DHS workers during the shutdown, some may still be owed for reimbursements or back pay. We're getting a new look at suspect Cole Allen's movements in the lead up to the latest assassination attempt on President Trump. Correspondent Jared Hill.
Authorities say newly released video shows Allen at the Washington Hilton Hotel the day before Saturday's event, walking through the hotel gym and through the halls. What Janine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, described as casing the area before the attack.
The 31-year-old suspect agreed to remain held leading up to his trial. Camp Mystic in Texas, where 25 girls and 2 counselors died in massive flooding last 4th of July, will not be reopening this summer. After pushback from the victims' families, the owners have withdrawn their application for an operating license. That's a relief to Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
We understand what the Eastland family's going through, but these parents are going through much, much, much more, and they should not have their license renewed.
Investigations into the camp's flooding response are ongoing. Dow futures up 113. This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world.
I'm Tony.
There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers.
How are you?
I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening News.
We have clear skies, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Demonstrations expected in hundreds of cities on this May Day, part of a worldwide workers' movement. The theme of the U.S. protests is Workers Over Billionaires. The May Day Strong Coalition is asking for an economic blackout, asking people to walk out on work, school, or shopping. Listen at 8:10 this morning when we talk about this with Washington University sociologists about the May Day movement.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley responding to the discovery of hundreds of pieces of mail dumped in a North St. Louis vacant lot this week. Some postmark as far back as January, addressed to homes across the city.
But what we really need now is action. And I saw the news about the Postal Service apparently dumping mail. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. Mail is late, not just all over Missouri, all over the nation.
The Postal Service says it's investigating and plans to attempt delivery of those items.
Meanwhile, Representatives Ann Wagner and Wesley Bell introduced the STL Up to Par Act this week, requiring the Postal Service to account to Congress for the St. Louis area's delivery failures with clear benchmarks and a public timeline for fixes.
I am delighted to say we are so close to having all of our lanes back. The Truman on-ramp from Lafayette and Truman to southbound I-55 is open again.
MoDOT area engineer Jen Wade on construction work at 55 nearly done. Pending good weather, Wade says construction should wrap up halfway through May. For now, Wade says 2 lanes headed southbound and 2 lanes headed northbound are open through the construction zone.
A motorcyclist hurt this morning following a crash at the intersection of Broadway and Davis in South St. Louis. The intersection is currently closed. Police tell our partners at Fox 2 the scene is active. Police received a call about an accident involving a motorcycle and a pickup truck about 2:45 this morning. The motorcyclist was transported to a hospital for injuries. We don't know the extent of those at this time, but the truck driver appeared uninjured.
An 85-year-old bike rider is recovering after being struck by a Valley Park man this week.
This Wednesday at around 2:10 p.m., officers responded to a reported assault in the 500 block of Vest Avenue. Investigators believe an 85-year-old man was riding his bike around Valley Park when 36-year-old Casey McBride was driving by in his truck. Witnesses told police McBride followed the victim on his bike and repeatedly cut him off before eventually catching up to the victim and hitting his bike. The 85-year-old man was knocked to the ground. His bicycle was dragged off by McBride's truck. Police say the victim was hospitalized with a broken hip after the incident. When police tried to arrest McBride, the Valley Park man struggled with officers, tried to spit at one, and grabbed the genitals of one of the officers after threatening to do so. He also admitted to officers that he was driving the truck, but stated that he only, quote, tapped the victim's bike with his truck. Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
The Mother Road turns 100 this year. AAA Auto Club reporting 41% of American adults say they plan to drive some part of Route 66 this year. The majority will drive their own car. The National Route 66 Centennial Kickoff Celebration is underway in Springfield, Missouri. We'll talk about it with AAA's Nick Chabaria this morning at 8:30.
6 blocks at Page and Hodemont in the city being dedicated to changing the lives of St. Louis families, starting with kids. The Show Me Family Zone will eventually include a community center, community garden, refurbished housing, and a grocer.
Cortega Collins, founder and executive director of the Foundation for Strengthening Families, tells KMOX the community needs more childcare options, especially for parents who work non-traditional hours.
They don't have quality, developmentally appropriate options for their children.
The foundation is already operating a new early learning center and adult daycare in the neighborhood. The Show Me Family Zone recently received funding to build a preschool dedicated to boys.
From the KMOX business desk, the Michael Del Pietro Restaurant Group closing Il Palato in Clayton tomorrow. The fine dining restaurant on Bemiston opened in 2019. On Monday, the restaurant group will open another restaurant in the former Jordan's Auto Service on Delmar in University City.
A plant-forward eatery in Kirkwood is closing. Station 3 on Manchester Road will close after service May 9th. It opened almost 2 years ago in the former location of Chicken Out. According to St. Louis Magazine, high rent led to the decision to close.
It's now 6:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Love it when the playoffs roll around, especially in the NBA. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We are talking special drops you are not going to want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part, it happens every single day during the playoffs. So whether you're betting the early game or you're gearing up for prime time, just make sure to open the FanDuel app. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, and you can see what's waiting for you today. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one.
As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. This is Total Information AM on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX 104.1 FM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, everything continues to cruise along on the interstates, Debbie. I'm not seeing any issues at all as you head out on the highways. Not enough volume to slow you down, even in the work zones right now. Things still are good to go. 55 approaching the Merrimack Bottom, the Merrimack River area. Actually, no delays there. No looking good north of Bayless, 270 at Ladue. I did just check with our partners at Fox 2, and they do still have the restrictions from that overnight motorcyclist crash. Broadway at Davis, that intersection is closed. That's a few blocks north of River de Paramarche. So is the biggest cross street there, so in the city proper. But they still have that intersection shut down as they wrap up their investigation work. But otherwise, the rest of the roadways are light and on the go for you, especially interstate so far this morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Sunny to partly cloudy today and quite cool for this time of the year. High 61, partly to mostly cloudy and chilly tonight. Watch out for a shower, low 45. Intervals of clouds and sun and quite cool again tomorrow with a passing shower, high 60. For Sunday, more sunshine, breezy, much warmer for the afternoon, high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Clear skies this morning, 46 in Florissant, 45 in St. Peters, and 47 downtown at the Arch.
Cards are back home tonight after a 4-game sweep in Pittsburgh. I'll tell you about that coming up in sports.
It is now 6:11. A decade-old St. Louis County sexual assault case. There's been an arrest. Clayton police say they've identified and arrested 68-year-old Michael Mahoney for raping a 25-year-old woman in Oak Knoll Park in the summer of 1986. Police say Mahoney was identified following a recent re-examination of evidence, including DNA.
Mahoney is currently held in a Louisiana detention facility. Clayton detectives and the St. Louis County prosecutor have charged him with 2 Class A felonies for rape and sodomy with a cash-only bond set at $1 million.
Interstate 64 will be getting more than just a facelift next year. MoDOT announcing large-scale construction plans that will start next year. Area engineer Jen Wade says they will fix or replace 12 St. Louis bridges, including replacing eastbound I-64, and they'll wrap it up in 2029.
For 1 year of that, we need to have all 3 lanes of the eastbound 64 through movement closed. So we'll be detouring traffic onto the city grid for about a year.
Wade says several alternative routes and detours have been planned, but the meeting they held was a chance for residents to voice concerns.
The closure will only be in one direction, which means we've got a great advantage. Usually both directions get closed, and so it's harder to manage traffic in both directions.
The Loop Trolley running on the track Thursday for the first time this season. Our Jade Aubrey was there.
I'm currently standing in front of the pageant on Del Mar Boulevard, which is one of the 10 stops the westbound Loop Trolley makes. The trolley's open 11 to 7, Thursdays through Sundays through October, and it's free for St. Louis residents to ride.
The season runs through October 25th.
Batman, Supergirl, Bugs Bunny, all still roaming the Midway at Six Flags St. Louis for now.
But the new owners of the park are not ready to commit. Enchanted Park's CEO James Harhide tells KMOX before the park worries about big re-themes of areas, the basics come first: fresh paint, cleaner show standards, and watching how guests actually respond to what's already there.
There's some
great attractions here that are tied to the DC characters, and we want to get the face characters out and experience that, and the Looney Tune characters out as well, and see how guests interact with them, and then we'll see how that relationship either can blossom or does it. Or is there something else that our guests want to see?
As we've reported, Enchanted Parks took over the St. Louis property a few weeks ago. Harhai says getting characters in front of guests and watching how they respond is a key part of deciding whether to renew the DC and Looney Tunes licensing agreements. If they do, it would make St. Louis one of the only parks in the entire world to have Warner Brothers characters and yet not be owned by Six Flags. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Redbird Report is sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. Cards in Pittsburgh yesterday facing NL Cy Young Award winner, the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, Paul Skeens, and they had a sweep on their minds.
A 2-0 pitch. That swung on, and it is hit out of here to right field. A home run opening the game for J.J. Weatherholt. That's the way to get started with the Cardinals going for a sweep in Pittsburgh on this Thursday.
7th of the year for J.J. Weatherholt to lead off the game. Ivan Herrera singled, and with one out, it was Jordan Walker.
Herrera leads at first. The pitch is swung on, and there's a high fly ball deep left field. This has a chance to go, and it is out of here, a home run. Mangum got back to the wall, reached, and couldn't catch it. Walker with his 9th home run of the year. The Cardinals lead 3-0 in the first inning against Paul Skeens, with home runs by Weatherholt and Walker.
Hunter Dobbins making his first Cardinals start of the year, worked into the 5th. He gave up 3. The Cards had a 5-4 lead going into the 8th. Gorman and Mason Wynn single to start that inning before Nathan Church adds on.
Church swings, and he hits a drive. That's hit to deep right center field, and that ball is off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Church has a 2 RBI double. The throw comes in, and in cutting it off, Horowitz tried to make a throw to the plate, and the ball slipped out of his hand like a bar of soap in the shower. The Cardinals get 2 on the double by Church, and they have a 7-4 lead.
2 outs, and the Cardinals load the bases with a couple of walks for Alec Burleson.
He has 2 hits today. Burleson lines it into right center, base hit. That's going to score 2 more runs. On to third, Ivan Herrera. Have a day, Alec Burleson, with 3 more runs batted in. Adding to his total, it's up to 25 now. The Cardinals have a 9-4 lead.
Then it was Jordan Walker again.
Here's Jordan Walker, the 9th batter of the inning, and he lines a hit into left field. The Cardinals add on and lead 10-4. Herrera crosses the plate. And Nolan Gorman started this with a hit to center field against Isaac Mattson. He's coming to bat for the 2nd time in the 8th inning.
So the Cardinals take a big lead into the 9th inning. Matt Swanson is on for the Redbirds in the bottom of the 9th. The Pirates do pick up a run on a couple of hits, and there's a man on for Ryan O'Hearn and 2 outs.
The 2-1. There's a line drive, left field, right to Church. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Much easier catch than he made up against the wall last night on Nick Gonzalez's drive that almost got out of here. But Church made the play to end the game. The Cardinals have swept the Pirates, taking all 4 games. They won today 10-5.
So against Paul Skeens, Skeens against the Cardinals, he is now 0-5. The Pirates, when Skeens starts against the Cardinals, are 1-6. It's also the first 4-game sweep for the Redbirds since 2019 when they swept the Dodgers. In that year, that was also the last time they swept a 4-game series at Pittsburgh. Tonight, the Dodgers are in town. They'll start a 3-game series at Busch Stadium tonight. 7:15 is the first pitch at Busch. 6:20 with Ameren Total Access here on KMOX. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it.
That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
I'm John Morgan. There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Reason number 3. First, all lawyers are not the same. If my family had an injury case and I couldn't hire us, there are only about 3 to 4% of the lawyers out there that I would hire. And here's why. Most of them rarely, if ever, go to trial. They just take the last best offer. Hell, you can do that yourself. Do this. If you're looking for a lawyer, Google Morgan & Morgan results and see what comes up. It may shock you. Then Google the firm you're thinking of hiring and do the same. That may shock you as well. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. We won a lot. $30 billion and counting. Morgan & Morgan, or thepeople.com. Who would I hire? I'd hire us.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 6:20. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brandon with the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they have a road work going on out west on westbound 44 right now, Megan. This traffic reports the service at Chesterfield Fence Deck, westbound 44 at 100 Washington. I'm not sure if it's on the exit ramp or on the highway proper. I don't see any delays, though, no matter which it is. The traffic's light enough heading through that area right now that it looks good. It is westbound, opposite direction of the rush hour flow. A few more folks are on the area highway, so we're starting to see just a hint of a slowdown. 55 across the river to pair up through Virginia. There's a couple of spots where it's sort of bogged down, but it's not jammed. It looks good further down south, coming up to the Merrimack River Bridge in Arnold. I don't see any issues there. Don't see any issues on 70 out west. 270 at Ladue still looks good. In fact, 270 northbound from 55 all the way up to Ladue is fine, and 64 westbound through 159 at Fairview Heights is fine as well. Do see a little slowdown downtown, a little bit of a backup eastbound 44 as you get through the Arch Park there. So it looks like we may have an incident. We'll check on that. There's still restrictions at Broadway and Davis, just north of River to Pear in the city. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a pretty decent weekend. It's going to warm up as we head out of the weekend, but today it's looking like 61 degrees with sunny to partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, high near 60. We could see a shower in places, otherwise clouds and sun. 78 Sunday, 80 on Monday. Currently, it is 45 degrees downtown.
More news now at 6:22. A St. Charles man sentenced to just over a year in federal prison for a 5-year scheme that drained $434,000 from an unidentified St. Louis area medical business. 33-year-old Talon Lewis worked as an accounts payable specialist. He used his access to patient refund lists to redirect checks to himself, friends, and acquaintances using fake names.
14 people helped him pull it off, kicking back 30% of what they received. Lewis spent his cut on personal expenses and at local casinos. As part of his sentence, he is banned from gambling establishments during his 3 years of supervised release.
Republican leaders in Springfield are demanding changes to Illinois' Pretrial Fairness Act after Chicago police officer John Bartholomew was shot and killed this weekend. The suspected shooter, a 7-time convicted felon who was out on pretrial release at the time. House Republican leader Tony McCombie says the controversial Safety Act law failed.
No law should put criminals over victims. Its policies fall short and they need to be fixed. If loopholes exist, as my colleagues like to call them, they must be closed. Preventable harm is unacceptable, and this is not an isolated incident.
Governor J.B. Pritzker says it wasn't the law, but a bad decision by a judge that led to the killing.
What played a role here was that the judge, who had the ability to keep the person in jail, didn't.
The commission appointed by Governor Pritzker to document Operation Midway Blitz's impact on Chicago has released its report, and its leaders are hoping their work helps local authorities hold federal agents accountable.
Our community has just been devastated.
Retired federal judge Ruben Castillo and the Illinois Accountability Commission that he chaired held hearings and gathered testimony and recordings for months. He says their report documents evidence that agents acted illegally, including in the shooting death of Silverio Villegas Gonzalez and the shooting in Chicago of Miramar Martinez.
Shooting people without justification is not within the scope of someone's lawful authority.
The report's being sent to prosecutors and police agencies across the area, including Cook County State's Attorney Eileen O'Neill Burke, who's pushed back against calls to charge immigration agents. Her office released a statement saying, in part, that prosecutors cannot file charges unless they're investigated by a law enforcement agency. Judge Castillo is not convinced.
All I hear, again, in my opinion, are a bunch of excuses.
And he says if she doesn't want to prosecute, she should let a special prosecutor take over. Jeff Buckles, News Radio 1059, WBBM.
A number of Illinois school districts are under federal investigation.
A total of 36 state school districts are being investigated by the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Officials say they're working to determine if classrooms, quote, have included sexual orientation and gender ideology, or SOGI, content in any class for grades pre-K through 12. A statement says the investigation aims to determine if parents of those students were given the chance to opt their children out of SOGI curriculum. Andy Dane, News Radio 1059 WBBM.
What started as social media posts is now getting mainstream news attention. Roughly a dozen people connected to UFO research have either died or disappeared since 2022. Southwest Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson says they include Major General William McCasland, who recently retired from the U.S. Air Force.
He was the commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, oversaw the Los Alamos labs in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as well as other labs. So he was working on some of the most advanced research programs, top secret projects that one can imagine.
Burleson tells MissouriNet the mysterious pattern doesn't add up, and he worries foreign adversaries could be at play. He calls the scientific community a vulnerable target.
John Goodman has 100 acting credits, but he'll be the first to tell you the road wasn't always smooth. The star was on the Today Show talking about driving past his old high school in Afton and assuming no one there would remember him anymore. But his drama teacher, Judy Ruthwish, is still there, and she sent him a message.
I just wanted to say that you've made some wonderful contributions to our district. And we're so proud of you and all the things you have done.
Goodman says back in the day, he wasn't exactly the go-to actor for school plays.
She had to fight to get me into a couple of productions because I was on the D list.
Now there's no doubt St. Louis native John Goodman leads the A-list.
Animal shelters in the area are crowded, so adoption fees are being sponsored at the county animal shelter.
You know, when you do adopt a pet from our shelter, not only are you helping save that pet's life, but you're also creating space in our shelter so that we can care for more dogs around the community who, you know, don't have the help that they need right now.
Mitch Finnegan is with St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Adoption Center and says the $80 adoption fee will be waived through Sunday.
Your money report from Bloomberg is up next. It's 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Before YouTube DIY videos, before skip ad, before don't forget to like and subscribe, there was KMOX. And this Saturday, we're still at your service. At 8, the Garden Hotline with Michelle Reeser-West, sponsored by Chesterfield Valley Nursery. At 11, the Home Improvement Show with Rich Orris, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts. So skip the videos and get it done right. KMOX is at your service, starting Saturday at 8.
It is 6:30. This is Total Information AM on Friday, May the 1st. It's sunny and 45 degrees right now. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Coming up, we're going to tell you about some construction on 64. First, though, let's get a check of the roads right now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, right now, 64 and the rest of the highways look great, with one exception, Megan. Like I said, we are building volume. We were seeing a little bit of a slowdown on 55. It looks good still coming up from Richardson through 141 to the Merrimack, but we do have stop-and-go pockets from Bayless all the way up to Virginia on northbound 55. And nearby, Broadway and Davis, I believe, is still shut down. That's Broadway north of Marceau, so it's just a few blocks north of River de Pere as you get into the city proper. But North 270 looks great from 55 all the way up through 44, and Ladue, both directions still humming along. Southbound 61 down onto 64 to 70, great shape out of the Wentzville area. Westbound 64 through 159 in Fairview Heights running well, and it's still clear across the bridges. And they cleared that. I'm sure it was just a stall because it was short-lived, but there's no longer any delays. Eastbound 44 past the Poplar going through the Arch Grounds. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right. Thanks, Roger. It's going to be sunny to partly cloudy today with a high of 61. Tomorrow, near 60 with sun and clouds, but possibly a shower in place as well. It's sunny right now and 45 degrees.
It's 6:32. Eastbound 64 between Vandevenner and Compton Avenue getting replaced. MoDOT says the bridge will close in late 2027 for a year as part of a large-scale construction project on 11 other St. Louis bridges.
Of course, lots of bridges in our city right now are old, but this one is requiring more and more and more maintenance over time. And now it's to the point where the best investment of our public dollars is to completely replace this bridge so that it's strong in place and doesn't have ongoing maintenance happening on this bridge all the time that has those impacts to traffic.
Area engineer Jen Wade says the project will be largely paid for through subsidies from the federal government. The overall cost estimate is currently $120 million. Full construction efforts expected to be finished in 2029.
We've been telling you now for about a year about problems with the Postal Service in St. Louis. Now 2 local members of Congress are doing something. It comes after hundreds of pieces of undelivered mail were found dumped in a north side vacant lot this week, some postmarked as far back as January. The St. Louis Postal Accountability and Reform Act, introduced by Representatives Wesley Bell and Ann Wagner, would require the U.S. Postal Service to benchmark its performance against national averages and report on corrective actions.
Bell says constituents have been dealing with this for years. Gary from Hardin, Illinois, is one of them.
It's a systemic thing that's been going on for quite a while, and it's gotten to where
we just use UPS now. We can't use mail service anymore.
Bell says people are waiting weeks for things like prescription medications and benefit checks. The bill has co-sponsors from both parties in Missouri and Illinois.
No work, no school, no work, no shopping. That's the call from activists on this May Day. Thousands of May Day protests are expected across the United States today. Tune in at 8:10 this morning when we speak with a Washington University sociologist about the May Day movement.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
It is 6:35, and it's time for your money report from Bloomberg. It's sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Tough news for the housing market. Mortgage rates rose for the first time in a month, with the key spring selling season slow to gain momentum. According to Freddie Mac, the average rate for a 30-year fixed loan increased to 6.3%. The housing market has been stuck in place since mortgage rates shot up 4 years ago. Checking on your money, the S&P 500 and NASDAQ finished April at a record. Stocks posted their best month since 2020, driven by a resurgence in tech shares and the artificial intelligence trade. We'll see if the momentum continues in May. This morning, the rally is taking a bit of a pause. S&P futures are up 8 points, Dow futures rising 75. And ConocoPhillips sees critical shortages of oil on the horizon as the Iran war enters its 3rd month. Executives at the energy giant say the supply pinch for some import-dependent countries is likely to significantly worsen as soon as June. The conflict has prompted the company to reduce its full-year output forecast. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX and my official sportsbook as well. And I just want to brag for a second and say that I have been with FanDuel longer than the state of Missouri. I've been playing when I've been out of town for a long, long time, a lot of years. It's a blast. And it's because they're always bringing something, right? Whether it was March Madness a while ago or the beginning of baseball season, there's always something going on. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. So we'll be talking about special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and a whole lot more than that. And the best part, it's every single day. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, just make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's there to waiting for you on every given day. Head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And FanDuel, of course, is an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo with Easy Cater, the best way to order great food from favorite restaurants for all your festivities. From April 27th through May 5th, every order placed earns you 1,000 bonus rewards points. From traditional favorites like enchiladas and mole to festive options like a build-your-own taco bar, even breakfast. Chilaquiles, anyone? Easy Cater makes food for Cinco de Mayo a cinch. Order now at EasyCater.com and get 1,000 bonus points on every order with promo code Cinco de Mayo 26. Restrictions apply. See offer details.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Dodgers. Ameren Total Access 620. First pitch 7:15. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:39. President Trump facing a key deadline in the war against Iran. Today is day 60 of the war. The War Powers Resolution requires presidents to seek congressional authorization to continue wars beyond 60 days. During a Senate hearing yesterday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth claimed the deadline is still weeks away.
Trump has signed a funding bill that will end the shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. The 75-day shutdown now over. That the House has passed a bill previously passed by the Senate. It funds all of the Department of Homeland Security except ICE and Border Patrol. That's expected to be passed separately. The shutdown came after Democrats demanded changes in the Trump administration's immigration enforcement tactics, including requiring body cameras and restricting immigration raids in places like schools.
FEMA is reversing some job cuts. Former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had approved the cuts before she was fired last month. FEMA's calling workers back to help prepare for hurricane season and the World Cup. Among those being reinstated are employees who had signed a letter accusing the Trump administration of cutting FEMA too much. FEMA's incident management workforce has 2,000 fewer people than it had a few months ago.
It is 6:40, and Fridays generally are fairly easy peasy on the roadways, but you never know when that's going to change. We have Roger Brand on the job. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, you're right. Fridays are nice drives in usually, Debbie, and they are right now, really. There's a little more volume, but it's still not bad. The only place we have significant delays, and it's just normally heavy traffic, is through that construction zone, northbound 55 from the Union Road overpass is stop-and-go pockets up through Virginia, but it still looks good down south. Richardson up through 141 to the Merrimack in that construction area, no delays. And it's also a little slow northbound 270, just both sides of Gravois, just a brief slowdown there, but it looks good other than that from 55 all the way up through the 64 area into the work zone at Ladue. Southbound 61 seeing a little slowdown approaching Wentzville Parkway, but not much. And on the Illinois side, again, just a few slowdowns. Westbound 64 just west of Greenmount looks a little busy. Eastbound 5570 between Exchange and 203. There's also a little heavy traffic, it looks like, running through there right now. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Let's see what's in store for this weekend as far as weather. Joe Lundberg joining us now. How's it look?
Pretty good overall. Cool, though, for the next couple of days, Megan. Only going to get to about 60, 61 degrees today. Sunshine this morning will mix with clouds this afternoon. And there'll be more clouds tonight and even a passing shower. I don't think it's much, but just to be on guard for a shower to wander through at some point overnight, that'll 45. The risk of a shower lingers through the day tomorrow. It'll be a very cool day for the first weekend of May with clouds and sun and a high of 60. But then all of a sudden we flip a switch and we go warmer on Sunday. More sunshine, becomes breezy, the high 78. Partly sunny for Monday, maybe an afternoon thunderstorm. That's ahead of the next cold front, the high 80. As that front moves through Tuesday, there'll be some showers, maybe a thunderstorm, the high 63. 43 right now at St. Peter's, 46 in Florissant, sunny 49 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And I'm Joe Pott. I'll tell you who's been hot for the Redbirds as they're coming back to town. That's coming up in sports.
It is 6:42. President Trump signing that bipartisan bill to fund much of the Department of Homeland Security, except for immigration operations, as we mentioned. Senator Elizabeth Warren says Democrats put up the same bill months ago.
This is what we offered them. And finally, I don't know what happened. They just had an attack of sensibility over on the other side and actually got it passed. I'm glad they did, but wow, really?
The recent assassination attempt against President Trump has prompted questions about added security measures. CBS's Linda Kenyon has the story.
After 3 attempts on his life in the past 2 years, President Trump was asked if he would wear a bulletproof vest.
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier.
But all kidding aside, the president added,
I've been asked about that, and I guess it's something you consider. In one way, you don't like to do it because you're giving into a bad element.
A man has been charged with trying to assassinate Trump while he was attending Saturday's White House Correspondents' Association dinner. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Gas prices continue to rise. The average price of a gallon of gas nationwide is $4.39, according to AAA. In California, it's over $6 a gallon, driving some to not drive or switch to public transit.
Don't even want to think about the whole cost of filling up my tank.
It just keeps going up.
Some people choosing not to drive at all, maybe stay home.
Ford is bringing back an employee perk in the nick of time, from rising gas prices to concerns about inflation, and all ahead of the country's big 4th of July festivities.
The campaign ties in with America's 250th birthday, says Ford sales director Robert Caffel. He says employee pricing is popular because it's easy to understand.
And we think, opening up employee pricing cuts through the, is this a good time to buy? Am I getting the best deal that's out there?
Ford ran a successful employee pricing promotion last year in an effort to ease concerns about tariff-related price increases. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
There's a recall involving a fuzzy toy.
I barely.
Build-A-Bear is recalling about 36,000 heartwarming Hugs plush bears, a favorite of pediatric patients.
And a bear can give hugs all day, every day, any time of the day.
But the Consumer Product Safety Commission says the zipper slider on the toy's side pouch can detach, posing a risk of serious injury, even death, from a choking hazard to kids. Each pouch contains a heart stuffed with 2.5 pounds of ceramic beads that can be heated or cooled for comfort. The toys were sold at Build-A-Bear workshop stores from January through March of 2026 for about $50. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
The Union Station Build-A-Bear Workshop urges consumers to call the product hotline to get an exchange or refund for that bear.
Well, J.J. Weatherholt has been some kind of hot for the Redbirds.
The 2-0 pitch. That swung on, and it is hit out of here to right field. A home run opening the game for J.J. Weatherholt. That's the way to get started, with the Cardinals going for a sweep in Pittsburgh on this Thursday.
Weatherholt was 6 of 16 in the 4-game sweep of the Pirates with a pair of leadoff home runs. He's hitting .304 over his last 15 games. He's got 11 runs driven in that time and a 1.125 OPS. He's also walked 7 times. His on base has risen to .429. Reigning Cy Young Award winner, probably not too hot about facing the Cardinals. Paul Skeens has made 7 career starts against the Cardinals. He's now 0-5 in that time. Generally, he hasn't been terrible against the Cardinals, just not able to get over the hump. Yesterday, though, one of his worst starts against the Redbirds. He allowed 4 earned runs on 8 hits in just 5 innings. Who's Hot, Who's Not is sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis City in a busy stretch right now. Wednesday, they advanced to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup thanks to a 2-1 win over the Fire in Chicago.
Left side of the box, Mackay, end line, crosses it, Leuven, he shoots and scores! City leads! Joyner to Leuven, a dozen minutes to go! St. Louis 2, Chicago 1.
They win that game 2-1 to get to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup for the first time in franchise history. Sunday, they're back on the road in MLS play. They'll face Austin with a kickoff set for 4:30 in the afternoon. You can hear that game on our sister station, Y98. The Battlehawks, meanwhile, win a defensive game last night. 16-3 the final, just a single first quarter field goal allowed. And head coach Ricky Pearl pleased with his team's effort on the road.
Proud of our football team in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. Just felt like, defense just continues to get better every week. I think they gave up 6 first downs. Obviously, they had Louisville had a great opening drive and got a field goal out of it, which was a win for us defensively. And that was it. And then they locked them down and, offensively, we finished the game, and that's we talk about that all the time, is finishing. And it was nice to see them finish and get a first down and run the clock out, victory formation. So, yeah, proud of our guys, proud of our football team, the way they played. We knew this was going to be a tough game, and it was.
Battlehawks return home to face the Columbus Aviators on Friday, May 8th at the Dome at America's Center. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get you to work safely this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, not too much to worry about out on the area highways right now, Megan. It's an easy Friday morning. Most Friday mornings are, and we're looking good on the area interstates. The one place we have the primary delays is northbound 55. It's backed up Bayless to River to Pear, then slow up through Holly Hills. Then it starts picking up the pace. North 270 is just a little busy passing gravel with the merge on traffic. Otherwise, it's a great run northbound all the way up through 64 and Ladue, both directions. 270 and Ladue still on the go. Eastbound 70, there's just a little hint of a slowdown on Highway A. Otherwise, you have a good run coming out of St. Charles County. Eastbound 64 coming off 61. No problems all the way in, even through the Interbelt. It still looks good. The Interbelt southbound, just a little slow ramping onto eastbound 64. And on the Illinois side, there's a little bit more of a backup now. It looks like it's either a stall or a crash. I mentioned earlier about delays between Green Mountain and 50. It's a jam now. 10 minutes ago, it was just a slowdown there. So just be prepared. There looks like there was a lane blocked at that point. But west of there, it's a good run headed for the bridges downtown. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be sunny to partly cloudy, but quite cool for May 1st, a high of 61, even cooler tomorrow with a high near 60. Sun and clouds for tomorrow, too, but maybe a shower in places. Warming up Sunday and Monday, 78 Sunday, 80 on Monday. It's 45 degrees right now with sunshine downtown.
More news now at 6:52. A body pulled from the Mississippi River by East Davis Street in the Carondelet area midday yesterday. St. Louis police confirm a body was found, but are giving no other details.
The owner of the Westin Hotel by Busch Stadium has defaulted on a $35 million loan, so a judge has appointed a receiver to take over. Clayton-based Lennox Capital Partners acquired the 263-room hotel in 2017, reportedly for more than $66 million, according to the Business Journal. Convention business and cardinal attendance being down has added to the struggles that piled up during COVID.
Belleville area Catholics get ready to officially receive the new bishop. Bishop-elect Father Godfrey Mullen will be ordained this afternoon at the Cathedral of St. Peter in Belleville. KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Father Godfrey will become the 10th bishop of the Belleville Diocese, replacing now Archbishop Michael McGovern, who was elevated to lead the Omaha Archdiocese after serving the past 5 years in Belleville. The 60-year-old bishop-elect is an Alton native and a Benedictine monk. He currently serves as rector of the Cathedral of St. Peter, and has been the diocesan administrator since Archbishop McGovern left last year. The soon-to-be new bishop says he'd prefer to be addressed by his first name, so Bishop Godfrey, since so many in the Belleville Diocese, he says, already know him as Father Godfrey. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Route 66 Centennial kickoff events are underway in Springfield, Missouri, the city recognized as the birthplace of the Mother Road. Madison Wood is communications director for Visit Springfield and says celebrating 100 years of Route 66 will be huge.
We're expecting thousands of visitors, not only regionally, but nationally and internationally. Just in the last month, we have seen visitors from around the world with so much interest in Route 66.
The celebration runs through Sunday in Springfield with major concerts featuring Little Big Town, Gretchen Wilson, and the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, plus parades, car shows, Route 66 landmark dedications. You can hear more about all of the festivities coming up this morning at 8:30.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, May 1st include singer Judy Collins. She's 87, Rita Coolidge, 81. Singer-actor Tim McGraw is 59, and filmmaker Wes Anderson is 57.
Local celebrity birthdays include a happy 21st to Luke Krishoni from Mom, Dad, Mason, and Andrew. Diane Galatka of Belleville. Happy birthday from Chuck, Krista, Tim, Dana, Alec, and Carol. Diane DeTucci and O'Fallon is celebrating. So are Jen Kubashevsky and Tom Littlepage. Ted Simmons from your SDNA family. Happy 22nd anniversary to Adam and Katie O'Donnell. And it's going to be an anniversary for Emily Block and Mike Kiley, who are getting married tomorrow.
This is the best birthday ever.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Bring your home back to life with Zero Res, a fresher clean that you can actually feel. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 and whole home air duct cleaning starting at just $599. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and tell them about the DGS KMOX deal.
Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600 or on the website bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Before YouTube DIY videos, before skip ad, before don't forget to like and subscribe, there was KMOX. And this Saturday, we're still at your service. At 8, the Garden Hotline with Michelle Reeser-West, sponsored by Chesterfield Valley Nursery. At 11, the Home Improvement Show with Rich Oryx, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts. So skip the videos and get it done right. KMOX is at your service starting Saturday at 8.
6:58. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. Roger Brand has an update from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, so far so good, Megan. Just a couple of exceptions, of course. Just normally heavy traffic, so you expect the delays. But northbound 55, not jammed as much as it was. Around 7 we get into sort of a lull. So we're looking at slow pockets now from Bayless up through the Holly Hills, Virginia area on northbound 55. Broadway at Davis, right nearby there, is still shut down. Broadway just north of Davis, I believe it is, where we had an overnight motorcycle crash. And I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash. I haven't gotten a confirmation from IDOT, but there is a lane blocked on westbound 64 just before you get to 50. So traffic on westbound 64 is a solid jam at Greenmount Road. Other than that, things look good. It's thinned out north 270 through Gravois, and eastbound 70, eastbound 64 coming in from out Wentzville Way look great. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday. It is May the 1st. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Details on the next summer Muni concert.
You will see me singing along all night long, obviously.
I'm Ivy Lyons.
I'm Megan Lynch.
St. Louis could be one of the few theme parks in the world to not be owned by Six Flags and yet have Warner Brothers characters. I'm Michael Calhoun with the exclusive details.
I'm Joe Pott. The Cardinals finish off a 4-game sweep of the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Now they're back home to face the Dodgers at Busch Stadium. I've got the details coming up in sports.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Sunny to partly cloudy today and quite cool, high 61.
CBS News is on the way. The White House pushing back against the deadline. Congress is deciding whether to extend the Iran war. At the tone, it's 7.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A milestone in the Iran conflict is triggering a requirement under the War Powers Act of 1973. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
Today is that 60-day deadline where the White House would need to formally ask Congress to declare war so that they could keep the troops in the region. But by all accounts, it looks like the White House, the Trump administration, the Pentagon, they're willing to blow past that 60-day deadline.
Both the president and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth insist the war is on hold. Virginia's Democratic Congressman James Walkinshaw.
They need to come straight with the American people, let us know how much this is costing, and then Congress should make the decision, in my view, to cut off the funding for this unauthorized, reckless war in Iran.
The war is still driving up gas prices. Correspondent Nancy Cordes at the White House.
Even as gas prices shot up Thursday, President Trump promised relief.
As soon as the war's over, it'll drop like a rock. There's so much of it.
But U.S. gas prices have been climbing for 9 straight weeks, from an average of $2.98 a gallon in late February to $4.39 a gallon now.
FEMA is reversing some of its job cuts.
Former Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem had approved of the cuts before she was fired last month. FEMA is calling the workers back to help prepare for hurricane season and the World Cup. Among those being reinstated are employees who had signed a letter accusing the Trump administration of cutting FEMA too much. Craig Fugate led FEMA under President Obama.
My biggest concern is the lack of experienced folks that have left in the recent year.
FEMA's incident management workforce has 2,000 fewer people than it had a few months ago. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Classes are canceled at Foss High School in Tacoma, Washington, a day after police detained a student in a mass stabbing. 4 other students, a security guard, and the suspect were injured, several of the victims critically. Police officer Shelby Boyd.
We responded quickly. We were able to get the scene contained and get the other students out to their families. It's unfortunate. This shouldn't be happening in our schools.
Detectives say the stabbing spree began after some sort of altercation. They're still investigating the specifics. Thousands of people are planning to march in cities across Washington state this May Day to protest the administration's immigration crackdown. Sylvia Gonzalez with the Seattle advocacy group Casa Latina.
We demand that ICE be removed from our communities. I think looking, what happened in Minnesota, this is very important.
Dow futures are up 116, NAS futures down 40. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why?
It's time for 60 Minutes.
carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
At 7:04, we have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, May 1st. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A motorcyclist is hurt this morning following a crash at the intersection of Broadway and Davis in South St. Louis. The intersection is closed currently. Police are telling our partners at Fox 2 it's an active scene. Police got the call about an accident involving a motorcycle and a pickup truck about 2:45 this morning. The motorcyclist was transported to the hospital with serious injuries. The truck driver appears uninjured.
We are expecting to have all the lanes open again, probably 2 weeks into May.
You heard it here first. MoDOT area engineer Jen Wade says construction on Interstate 55 should be finished next month. The Truman off-ramp running from Lafayette and Truman to southbound 55 finally opened, so are 2 lanes headed through the construction zone.
Right now, the northbound traffic in the northbound lanes, all the southbound traffic in the southbound lanes, which I'm thrilled about.
Wade says only severe weather can push the reopening back.
Action in Washington, D.C. after hundreds of pieces of undelivered mail were found dumped in a vacant lot in North St. Louis this week. Addresses on those envelopes are from across the city and some from the county as well. Utility bills, insurance cards, bank documents among the items found dumped. Intentionally dumping mail is a federal offense. The Postal Service says it is investigating.
Callers to KMOX's Chris and Amy show say they've been living with postal problems for years. Gary from Hardin, Illinois says he used to ship live queen bees through the mail until the St. Louis hub made it impossible.
We routinely send queen bees in the mail. Well, that was routinely up until about 4 or 5 years ago, because now anything you ship in the mail just bounces around St. Louis. It's a systemic thing that's been going on for quite a while.
This week, local congressional representatives Wesley Bell and Ann Wagner introduced the STL Up to Par Act, bipartisan legislation to require the Postal Service to report to Congress on its delivery performance and what it's doing to fix problems.
Demonstrations are expected in hundreds of cities on this May Day, part of a worldwide workers' movement. The theme of the U.S. protests is Workers Over Billionaires. The May Day Strong Coalition is asking for an economic blackout, asking people to walk out on work, school, and shopping today. Coming up at 8:10 this morning, we'll talk with a Washington University sociologist about the May Day movement.
An ongoing neighborhood revitalization program in St. Louis believes success will come from focusing on kids. The Show Me Family Zone taking shape in the area of Page and Hodemont. Cortega Collins, founder and executive director of the Foundation for Strengthening Families, tells KMOX's Total Information AM the expected $10 million investment will have a huge payback.
In 10 years, you're going to have a generation of children who are prepared academically, who are going to eventually enter the workforce, who are going to contribute to the economy. You are going to have healthy and whole parents who are working together. You're going to have less trauma in homes, which will translate to less crime.
The zone just received funding for an all-boys preschool. There's already an early learning center and adult daycare. Plans call for refurbished housing, a community center, garden, and grocery.
From the KMOX Business Desk, the Michael Del Pietro Restaurant Group is closing Il Palato in Clayton as of tomorrow. The fine dining restaurant on Bemiston opened in 2019. On Monday, though, the restaurant group will open Cibo Italia in the former Jordan's Auto Service on Del Mar in University City.
A Plant Forward eatery in Kirkwood closing. Station number 3 on Manchester Road will close after May 9th. It opened almost 2 years ago in the location formerly occupied by Chicken Out. According to St. Louis Magazine, high rent led to the decision to close.
It is 7:08. We'll take a break here and come back with the latest on the roadways and the weather here on Total Information AM.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at ledermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, May 6th and May 7th. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress-tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. Let's get you a check of traffic and weather, and we're starting with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, it sounds like police are just pulling up on the scene now with this. That is a crash now. They said it's westbound 64 right near the Highway 50 exit 14 over in the O'Fallon Fairview Heights area. Westbound 64 now is jammed back just past Green Mountain Road, so the jam's slowly getting worse. Again, lane blockage, but I can't tell which lane is blocked. I just hear the police talking as they're arriving on the scene. I hear the sirens in the background. So that's the only jam we have on the highways. Other than that, really looking great on a Friday. Like I said, around 7, we normally get into a lull. So northbound 55, let's call it approaching Weber up through Virginia is slow, but it's only slow. It looks good further down south than that. Normally we see delays coming up to the Merrimack River and Arnold, but right now that's non-existent. North 270 from 55 through Gravois all the way up through 64. The work zone, both directions, 270 at Ladue, still great shape. And we look fine out west, eastbound 64, eastbound 70, and southbound 61 coming out of Winsfield. Good runs across the Missouri River bridges. There's no delays across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges either downtown. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. Sunshine mixing with some clouds today. Quite cool for early May, high 61. And tonight, partly to mostly cloudy and chilly. There can be a shower, though, 45. We're meeting quite cool tomorrow with intervals of clouds and sun and a passing shower, the high only 60. For Sunday, mostly sunny, becoming breezy and much warmer in the afternoon, high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a sunny morning, 46 degrees in Florissant, 42 in St. Peters, and 46 downtown at the Arch.
I've got highlights of a Cards 4-game sweep in Pittsburgh. That's coming up in sports.
It is 7:12. A body was pulled from the Mississippi River by East Davis Street in the Carondelet area midday yesterday. St. Louis police confirm a body was found, but they don't have any more information, including they haven't released the victim's gender.
The Ferguson City Council pushes a data center meeting back another week. A special session on turning the old Emerson Electric headquarters into a data center was set to be held last Thursday. It was rescheduled after Mayor Adrian Shropshire said the council needs to have more transparent conversations with residents before taking a vote. The meeting was supposed to be held last night. It's been pushed back again to Monday.
I-64 will see more than just renovations next year. Part of it is being completely replaced. MoDOT held a meeting last night to unveil specifics about large-scale construction that starts next year.
Moving, replacing, or rehabbing 12 bridges in a 1.5-mile segment, It includes untangling the Market Street and Grand ramps, and we're going to be adding 4 new off-street bicycle facilities connecting the other routes that are here in the city.
MoDOT area engineer Jen Wade says the biggest nuisance for drivers will be the closure of eastbound I-64 between Vandeventer and Compton, which will be closed starting in late 2027. Total construction won't be finished until 2029.
The Mother Road turns 100 this year. The AAA Auto Club reports 41% of American adults say they plan to drive some part of Route 66 this year. The majority will drive their own car. The National Route 66 Centennial Kickoff Celebration is underway in Springfield, Missouri. Coming up at 8:30 this morning, we're going to talk with AAA's Nick Chabaria about what's happening.
The Loop Trolley was running on the track Thursday for the first time this season, and KMOX's Jade Aubrey was there.
I'm currently standing in front of the pageant on Del Mar Boulevard, which is one of the 10 stops the westbound Loop Trolley makes. The trolley's open 11 to 7, Thursdays through Sundays through October, and it's free for St. Louis residents to ride.
The season runs through October 25th.
St. Louis could be the amusement park that breaks the Six Flags monopoly on Warner Brothers characters.
When Enchanted Parks took over the St. Louis property, Six Flags granted an exception. Not only could the park have a transition season, but after that, if the new company wanted to keep those WB characters, they could. But Enchanted CEO James Harhide tells KMOX that license does stop at the St. Louis regional limits.
It's just for St. Louis. It was just part of the deal. I mean, it would have been it was just for the St. Louis. I don't think it makes sense for us to try to buy additional rights for other parks.
In other words, if you're headed to Valley Fair or Michigan's Adventure, don't expect to see Superman there. Those parks are not covered by the carve-out and remain bound by Six Flags exclusivity with WB. Harhide says he is still learning the St. Louis market and about cultural touchstones here, like baseball and Mardi Gras. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Cardinals finishing a series in Pittsburgh yesterday, facing reigning NL Cy Young Award winner Paul Skeens. And they had a sweep of the 4-game series on their minds. And J.J. Weatherholt, well, he helped them out to a good start.
The 2-0 pitch. That swung on, and it is hit out of here to right field. A home run opening the game for J.J. Weatherholt. That's the way to get started with the Cardinals going for a sweep in Pittsburgh on this Thursday.
7th of the year for Weatherholt. They weren't done. Ivan Herrera singled, and with one out in the first, it was Jordan Walker's turn.
Herrera leads at first. The pitch is swung on, and there's a high fly ball deep left field. This has a chance to go, and it is out of here, a home run. Mangum got back to the wall, reached, and couldn't catch it. Walker with his 9th home run of the year. The Cardinals lead 3-0 in the first inning against Paul Skeens, with home runs by Weatherholt and Walker.
And that's our cut of the game. The cut of the game is sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. Hunter Dobbins made his first career start for the Cardinals. He worked into the 5th. He gave up 3 runs. Cardinals had a 5-4 lead going into the 8th inning, where Nolan Gorman and Mason Wynn singled to start the inning before Nathan Church added on.
Church swings, and he hits a drive. That's hit to deep right center field. And that ball is off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Church has a 2 RBI double. The throw comes in, and in cutting it off, Horowitz tried to make a throw to the plate, and the ball slipped out of his hand like a bar of soap in the shower. The Cardinals get 2 on the double by Church, and they have a 7-4 lead.
They weren't done in that inning. 2 outs, and the Cardinals load the bases with a couple of walks for Alec Burleson.
He has 2 hits today. Burleson lines it into right center, base hit. That's going to score 2 more runs. On to third, Ivan Herrera. Have a day, Alec Burleson, with 3 more runs batted in, adding to his total. It's up to 25 now. The Cardinals have a 9-4 lead.
And next up, it's Jordan Walker.
Here's Jordan Walker, the 9th batter of the inning, and he lines a hit into left field. The Cardinals add on and lead 10-4. Herrera crosses the plate. And Nolan Gorman started this with a hit to center field against Isaac Mattson. He's coming to bat for the 2nd time in the 8th inning.
So it's a 10-4 lead. Matt Swanson is on for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Pirates pick up a run on a couple of hits, and there's a man on for Ryan O'Hearn with 2 outs.
The 2-1. There's a line drive, left field, right to Church. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Much easier catch than he made up against the wall last night on Nick Gonzalez's drive that almost got out of here. But Church made the play to end the game. The Cardinals have swept the Pirates, taking all 4 games. They won today 10-5.
First 4-game sweep period for the Redbirds since 2019 when they swept the Dodgers in a 4-game series. Incidentally, it was also that year the last time they swept a 4-game series at PNC Park. Paul Skeens now 0-5 against the Cards in his career. Cards and Dodgers tonight. It's a 3-game series beginning at Busch Stadium. 7:15 first pitch, 6:20 with our pregame coverage. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
In 1991, John and Cindy Morelli started Morelli Tuck Pointing. As of today, they've won just about every award possible for the tuck pointing business. The BBB Torch Award, the Next Door Neighborhood Fave Award, and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. For homeowners, this is a great time to get a free inspection of your basement, your brick or stone fireplace, your garage interior, your porch, and maybe even your walkway. Indoor tuck pointing can be started now. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. My wife Beth and I have used Morelli Tuck Pointing to work on 2 of our homes now over the last 25 years. We have found the Morelli bids to be fair. Their crews are very polite and they clean up after themselves. But most importantly, their work is beautiful. Family owned and operated since 1991. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20. Let's see how things are moving on this Friday morning. Roger Brand has an update for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things aren't bad, Megan, with the exception of on the Illinois side, and I still can't tell you which lane's blocked, but we do have a crash westbound 64 just before you get to exit 14. That's Route 50, Lincoln Trail, whatever you want to call it, in O'Fallon. Westbound 64 is a solid jam approaching Greenmount Road, so the jam hasn't gotten any worse, but hasn't gotten any better either. They're still on the scene trying to deal with it. One of our KMOX commuters said it looked like a pretty bad crash as they went by, so it may take a little longer than just a simple kind of a wreck, a minor wreck where they can move it to the shoulder. Northbound Highway 255, you've got slow traffic from about River to Pear up to Holly Hills, then it sorts itself out. North 270 looks great from 55 through Gravois. There is a little backup, it looks like, coming off the ramp. And again, as I'm looking through traffic, I can't see if there's something blocking, but the ramp from 64 onto northbound 270 is backed up. It looks like the westbound side's most adversely impacted, but the through traffic looks like it's okay. Of course, it's busy this time of day, but there's not really much of a slowdown, and there aren't any other slowdowns on the interstates out there right now. Next update is 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
It is 7:22, and it is going to be sunny to partly cloudy today with a high of 61 degrees. A shower in places possible tomorrow with a high near 60, otherwise sun and clouds. Currently, it's 46 degrees with sunshine downtown.
The news continues at 7:22. A St. Charles man sentenced to just over a year in federal prison in a 5-year scheme that drained more than $400,000 from a St. Louis area medical business. 33-year-old Talon Lewis worked as an accounts payable specialist. He used his access to patient refund lists to redirect checks to himself, friends, and acquaintances using fake names.
14 people helped him pull it off. They were getting 30% kickbacks. Lewis spent his cut on personal expenses and at local casinos. As part of his sentence, he is banned from gambling establishments during his 3 years of supervised release.
News in a decades-old St. Louis County sexual assault case. Clayton police say they've identified and arrested 68-year-old Michael Mahoney in connection with the rape of a 25-year-old woman in Oak Knoll Park in the summer of 1986. Police say Mahoney was identified following a recent re-examination of evidence, including DNA.
Mahoney is currently being held in a Louisiana detention facility. Clayton detectives and the St. Louis County prosecutor have charged him with 2 Class A felonies for rape and sodomy with a cash-only bond set at $1 million.
Illinois Republicans say the shooting death of Chicago officer John Bartholomew is the latest in a pattern of violent crimes committed by people out on pretrial release. They point to a man with more than 70 prior arrests who allegedly set a woman on fire in Chicago Transit, and a 7-time felon who tried to push a man onto the tracks. House Republican leader Tony McCombie says the system is broken by design.
The reality of the SAFETY Act is stark. Individuals with extensive criminal histories or active charges are being released and committing serious crimes in their communities.
Governor J.B. Pritzker calls it an awful tragedy.
As you've seen in most of the cases where Republicans have complained about the SAFETY Act, it's actually been the bad decision by an elected judge in Illinois, or no hearing at all because the prosecutor didn't bring it to the judge. And that has been a reason why somebody gets let out. A judge can make this decision. A judge should have made the decision to keep that person in jail.
Republicans say they've introduced more than 40 bills targeting the Pretrial Fairness Act.
Several Illinois school districts are now the targets of a new Justice Department investigation.
The DOJ's Civil Rights Division says it's looking into the curriculums of over 30 Illinois school districts regarding sexual orientation and gender ideology content, specifically whether schools teaching what's referred to as SOGI content, quote, have notified parents of their right to opt their children out of such instruction. An official leading the investigation says in a statement, Supreme Court precedent leaves no doubt parents have the fundamental right and primary authority to direct the care, upbringing, and education of their children. Andy Day, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Belleville monk Father Godfrey Mullen is soon to officially become Bishop Godfrey Mullen. The Belleville Diocese will officially install its 10th bishop Friday afternoon at the Cathedral of St. Peter. KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Bishop-elect Godfrey replaces now Archbishop Michael McGovern, who was elevated to lead the Omaha Archdiocese after serving the past 5 years in Belleville. The 60-year-old bishop-elect is an Alton native and a Benedictine monk. He currently serves as rector of the Cathedral of St. Peter and has been the diocesan administrator since Archbishop McGovern left last year. The soon-to-be new bishop says he'd prefer to be addressed by his first name, so Bishop Godfrey, since so many of the Belleville diocese, he says, already know him as Father Godfrey. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Muni has capped the past 3 summer seasons with stellar concerts. First, it was John Legend. Last summer, it was Diana Ross and Jean Baptiste. KMOX's Ivy Lyons has a look at the Muni's summer concert pick for this year.
Who has 4 Grammys, an Oscar, and more earworms than you could count.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
That's right, it's Lionel Richie. The legend of American pop and R&B will be the final act in this summer's concert at the Muni. Muni President Kofi Coleman.
Lionel Richie has had a remarkable career. He is a true legend in his own right. So we think that is what the people of St. Louis deserve to close their summer.
But you'll want to get those tickets pretty quick.
Tickets will be on sale to the public on May 18th. So get in line. I get your tickets. They'll be online. I'd get online on May 18th. We expect to sell out, but we have tickets starting at $75 and all the way up for VIP packages. And of course, like I said, we'll have a free seat lottery.
Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
Lionel Richie, that is I want to go to that. 7:27, the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Love it when the playoffs roll around, especially in the NBA. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We are talking special drops you are not going to want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part, it happens every single day during the playoffs. So whether you're betting the early game or you're gearing up for prime time, just make sure to open the FanDuel app. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive, and you can see what's waiting for you today. Just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall tire dressing. Plus, get 4 times O-Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Staples has hundreds of ways to grow your business this spring, like spectacular signs, brilliant brochures, eye-popping posters, mouth-watering menus, and more. Shop now through June 13th and save up to $150 on all your custom prints. Staples. That was easy.
At 7:30, we have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our issue on the Illinois side with the crash on westbound 64 just before you get to exit 14, US 50. There's a lane blockage, and there's a jam back through Greenmount Road on westbound 64. Now, once you get past that point, it's wide open cruising all the way across the Poplar with no delays. Northbound 55, you just got slow traffic, but it runs from Bayless all the way up to Virginia. Northbound 270 now approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois is slow, a little busy approaching Manchester, approaching Clayton Road, and 64 up to Ladue. Those ramp lanes coming off 64 still look a little congested. South 270 approaching Ladue, south of Olive, so just a very brief delay, a little busy there. Eastbound 64 approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, looks like there's a little volume, but really southbound 61 and eastbound 70, 64, like I said, there's a brief slowdown, so it still looks pretty good coming in from out Wentzville way. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, we're looking for sunny skies, cool, a high of 61, mostly cloudy tonight, chilly with a shower in spots, an overnight low of 45. And then tomorrow, cool with a mix of clouds and sun, a shower in places, a high near 60. We have sunny skies, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:32, and St. Louis County Police are asking for help in a fatal hit and run. 66-year-old Mark Ryan was killed yesterday after being hit by a car while riding his bicycle in the 2200 block of Hudson Drive. Investigators believe he was hit while riding his bike just before 8:30 in the morning. He later died at a hospital due to his injuries.
Police are now asking residents to help find the suspect's vehicle. If you spot a black 2014 Chevrolet Sonic with tinted windows and damage to the front driver's side door, you can call county police or Crime Stoppers.
We are expecting to have all the lanes open again, probably 2 weeks into May.
MoDOT area engineer Jen Wade says construction on I-55 should be finished this month. The Truman off-ramp running from Lafayette and Truman to southbound I-55 is finally open, and so are 2 lanes heading through the construction zone.
Right now, the northbound traffic in the northbound lanes, all the southbound traffic in the southbound lanes, which I'm thrilled about.
Wade says only severe weather could push the reopening back.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is responding to the discovery of hundreds of pieces of mail dumped in a North St. Louis lot this week.
What we really need now is action. And I saw the news about the Postal Service apparently dumping mail. I mean, this is just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. Mail is late, not just all over Missouri, all over the nation.
The Postal Service says it's investigating and plans to attempt delivery of the items. Meanwhile, Representatives Ann Wagner and Wesley Bell introduced the STL Up to Par Act, requiring USPS to account to Congress for the St. Louis area's delivery failures with clear benchmarks and a public timeline for fixes.
No school, no work, no shopping. That's the call from activists today on this May Day. Thousands of May Day protests are expected across the United States. Listen at 8:10 this morning when we talk with a Washington University sociologist about the May Day movement.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
It is 7:35. This is Total Information AM. Let's get you your Bloomberg Money Minute, sponsored for you this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Shares of Roblox tumbling this morning. The number of players on the video game platform missed Wall Street expectations in the first quarter. Roblox attributed the numbers to its aggressive push to enhance safety. The company has implemented features restricting how kids can use the platform, including age checks. Children make up a majority of the players on Roblox. Let's turn to the markets, where the record run on Wall Street continues. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ begin today's session at all-time highs. The S&P 500 rose 10% in April, its best month since 2020. And everyone seems to be talking about mahjong these days. More and more folks are getting hooked on the ancient tile game. Mahjong events are popping up in major cities all around the globe. According to Eventbrite, searches for the game are up significantly, and mahjong-related events have grown 45-fold in the past 5 years. Players find mahjong as a way to seek connections. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the NeoVitan monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitan.com and start your subscription today. NeoVitan, trusted nutrition every day.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky,
or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
It is now 7:40. The sun is shining brightly. We'll tell you what the forecast has in store for us for the weekend and beyond coming up. But first, let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're at the peak point of the rush hour, Debbie, so it's busy, but on a Friday, it's better than most days. But we still have this jam on the Illinois side. We still have this crash with lane blockage westbound 64 just before exit 14, which is US 50 Lincoln Trail. And traffic's jammed approaching Green Mountain Road on westbound 64. Really no change in that for a while. Northbound 55, just a slowdown, but it runs Bayless up to Virginia, and then it's a little slow again, Gravois up to 44, but then it thins out. Northbound 270, approaching Tesson Ferry through Gravois is slow. From Doherty Ferry up to about Clayton Road, and then those ramps east and westbound 64 getting onto North 270 are backed up. The through lanes are busy there, but they don't look quite as bad. Eastbound Highway 70, you got some slow traffic between Cave Springs and Zumbel. Westbound 70, seeing a little bit of a backup right through Highway W at Forestel. You know, that on-ramp from W to westbound 70 is closed, and that North Service Road, the eastbound lanes are closed just west of W. That's for the next 45 days. Eastbound 364 coming off 64 in toward Bryan Road, there's some congestion as well. Westbound 64 from about McCausland to Hanley is just kind of slow. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like a cool start to May. Let's get the latest on the forecast with AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
It is indeed going to be a cool start to the month of May, Megan. We're starting out with temperatures this morning in the upper 40s. We will see sunshine for a while today before clouds start to billow upward during the afternoon hours. Our high only gets to 61. Those clouds will lead to a passing shower tonight. I don't think it's anything more. The overnight low 45. For tomorrow, another very chilly day for this time of the year with clouds and sun. And again, a passing shower can't be ruled out, the high 60. Now we get to Sunday. That's a different day. Southwest breezes will bring in much warmer air, and with sunshine, we'll get to 78. We'll be near 80 Monday with sun and clouds and the chance for an afternoon thunderstorm. Front comes through Monday night and Tuesday with it. Some showers, maybe a thunderstorm Tuesday's high, though, back in the mid-60s. 47 degrees at St. Peter's, 48 in Florissant, sunny, 49 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. We'll look ahead to the Cards and the Dodgers coming up this weekend. That's coming up in sports.
It is now 7:42. A Pentagon official testified on Capitol Hill Wednesday that the price so far for Trump's war in Iran, $25 billion. U.S. officials familiar with the matter tell CBS News that the price is in reality closer to $50 billion.
Edward Fishman is a former Russian and European sanctions lead at the U.S. State Department. He's also author of Choke Points, American Power in the Age of Economic Warfare. He spoke with Major Garrett on America's position in the war so far.
The challenge is, in terms of will, the Iranian regime is fighting for survival, and Trump hasn't quite figured out what we're fighting for. Is it trying to get rid of Iran's nuclear program? Is it sinking their navy? Is it just reopening the Strait of Hormuz?
The recent assassination attempt against the president has prompted questions about added security measures.
After 3 attempts on his life in the past 2 years, President Trump was asked if he would wear a bulletproof vest.
I don't know if I can handle looking 20 pounds heavier.
But all kidding aside, the president added,
I've been asked about that, and I guess it's something you consider. In one way, you don't like to do it because you're giving into a bad element.
a man has been charged with trying to assassinate Trump while he was attending Saturday's White House Correspondents Association dinner. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Ford bringing back an employee perk in the nick of time, from rising gas prices to concerns about inflation, all ahead of the country's big 4th of July festivities.
The campaign ties in with America's 250th birthday, says Ford sales director Robert Caffel. He says employee pricing is popular because it's easy to understand.
And we think, opening up employee pricing cuts through the, is this a good time to buy? Am I getting the best deal that's out there?
Ford ran a successful employee pricing promotion last year in an effort to ease concerns about tariff-related price increases. Jeff Gilbert, CBS News, Detroit.
The war in Iran and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz by both the U.S. and Iran continues to increase the price of gas. National average, according to AAA, is now $4.39 a gallon. CBS's Nancy Cordes tells us some Americans who rely on their cars for their volunteer work to help others may have to stop doing that.
The head of Meals on Wheels America said many volunteer drivers who pay for gas themselves may have to make some tough choices.
Meals on Wheels is a lifeline to a number of seniors across the country. And so to me, we are putting people's lives at risk if we aren't able to meet their basic needs.
Cardinals are back home tonight. They begin a 3-game series against the Dodgers at Busch Stadium after wrapping up a 4-game series sweep at Pittsburgh yesterday.
The 2-1. There's a line drive, left field, right to Church. He makes the catch for a Redbird winner. Much easier catch than he made up against the wall last night on Nick Gonzalez's drive that almost got out of here. But Church made the play to end the game. The Cardinals have swept the Pirates, taking all 4 games. They won today 10-5.
First 4-game sweep since 2019 when the Cards swept the Dodgers. Also the last time they swept a series at PNC Park, a 4-game series, that is. Cards start this weekend 18-13. They're a season high, 5 games over the 500 mark, 2 games out in the National League Central Division. Matthew Liberatore will make his 7th start of the year. He's still looking for his first win. He's 0-1 with a 4.75 earned run average. And the Cards will face right-hander Emmett Sheehan. For the Dodgers, he is 2-0 with a 4.78 ERA in 5 starts this year. Game time tonight, 7:15. Pregame coverage at 6:20. St. Louis City is in a busy stretch right now. Wednesday, they advance to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup thanks to a 2-1 win over the Fire in Chicago.
Left side of the box, Mackay and line crosses it. Leuven, he shoots and scores! City leads! Jordan Leuven, a dozen minutes to go. St. Louis 2, Chicago 1.
Today, Sunday, they are back on the road in MLS play. They'll face Austin. Kickoff is set for 4:30 Sunday afternoon, and you can hear that game on our sister station, Y98. The Battlehawks, meanwhile, won a defensive game last night in Louisville, holding the Kings to a first-quarter field goal and nothing more in a 16-3 win. Battlehawks head coach Ricky Prohl pleased with his team's effort on the road.
Proud of our football team in all 3 phases, offense, defense, special teams. Just felt like, defense just continues to get better every week. I think they gave up 6 first downs. Obviously, they had Louisville had a great opening drive and got a field goal out of it. which was a win for us defensively. And that was it. And then they locked them down. And, offensively, we finished the game. And that's we talk about that all the time, is finishing. And it was nice to see them finish and get a first down and run the clock out, victory formation. So, yeah, proud of our guys, proud of our football team, the way they played. We knew this was going to be a tough game, and it was, So, yeah, happy with our performance. Still some room to grow offensively. I think there's some things that we left some plays out there, and we need to watch the tape and grow and get better from those mistakes.
Battlehawks now 4-2. They're coming back home to face the Columbus Aviators on Friday, May 8th at the Dome at America's Center. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Don't miss a baseball showdown at Busch Stadium when Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers roll into the Lou, May 1st through the 3rd. Kick off the weekend with Friday Night Live and a must-have short-sleeve hoodie giveaway. Saturday brings a Mason Wynn bobblehead celebrating his Gold Glove Award. Then Sunday features a sleek blade collar shirt giveaway. Big names, big matchups, and big giveaways all weekend long. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Mason Wynn. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
The 1-2, and that's grounded up the middle. Diving play. Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He got him.
What's up, Cardinals fans? Mason Wynn here. On Saturday, May 2nd, when we face the Dodgers, you can take home the Mason Wynn Gold Glove bobblehead presented by the Shane Company. It's got my chain, my first gold glove, my whole look, just how I rock it. Plus, a few rare all-gold baubles will be randomly mixed in for 500 lucky fans. This is one you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
On Saturday, May 16th, join KMOX and Grassroots Redeeming Love in commemorating 1 year since the historic EF3 tornado that devastated North St. Louis with a short morning of service. Volunteers will meet in the Kingsway East neighborhood from 9 to 11 to help clear tree limbs and trash. If interested in RSVPing for the cleanup or interested in donating to the effort, go to KMOX.com/events for more information.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's see how the morning push is going for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading out the door, westbound Highway 64 in Metro East, we have that crash that we're working to clear. It's still out there. Lane blockage at 64 just before you get to exit 14. That's US 50. Traffic's jammed. Hasn't changed. Still jammed. Basically at Greenmount Road, headed through that area, bumper to bumper. But once you get past that point, it's smooth sailing across the downtown bridges into the city. Northbound 55, Weber, north of Bayless, up through Virginia, slow. North 270, there's a couple of slowdowns. North of 55, through Gravois, like midway to 44. Doherty Ferry, most of the way up through 64. The 64 ramp still a little backed up. South 270, Olive down through Ladue is busy. Coming in from out west, it doesn't look bad. Eastbound 64, a little heavy at the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Clayton Skinker, and then just Big Bend to Hanley. The right lanes are a little slow, but I mentioned ramping on to North 270. Those right lanes are bogged down from about Spady. Trying to do that on the westbound side. It's not as bad for eastbound drivers. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a pretty decent weekend, a little on the cooler side for May the 1st today, with a high of 61 degrees with partly to sunny to partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we might see a shower in places. Otherwise, sun and clouds, high near 60, warming up to 78 with mostly sunny skies on Sunday, 80 on Monday. Currently 48 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 7:52. The Ferguson City Council pushing a data center meeting back another week. A special session on turning the old Emerson Electric headquarters into a data center was set to be held last Thursday. That was rescheduled after Mayor Adrian Shropshire said the council needs to have more transparent conversations with residents before taking a vote. That meeting was supposed to be held last night. It's now been pushed back again to Monday.
All clear. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Infant formulas have been put to the test.
Here's the AP's Ed Donahue.
A study by the Food and Drug Administration confirms the safety of infant formula. More than 300 samples of commercial infant formula were tested between 2023 and last year for heavy metals, including lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. The FDA says levels of all contaminants were undetectable or very low. Pesticides were also tested, as well as chemicals found in plastics and substances sometimes called forever chemicals. Outside experts generally agreed with the government's assessment, but others say the detection of some of these compounds at all is concerning. The European Union, Canada, and Australia have enforceable limits for heavy metals in infant formulas. The U.S. does not.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
The adoption fee for St. Louis County Animal Shelter is being sponsored now through Sunday.
So what that means is folks can come out and, work with our staff to find the perfect pet for their situation, for their family, for their lifestyle. And then they can take that pet home that day at no cost to them.
Mitch Finnegan with St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Adoption Center says the goal is to help 50 animals find homes this weekend.
John Goodman stopped by NBC's Today Show and got a surprise he wasn't expecting. The St. Louis native was telling hosts he'd driven past his old high school recently, but figured there was no one left there who would remember him. Turns out he was wrong. His high school drama teacher is still there, and she had something to say.
Hello, John. This is Judy Rethwich from the Afton School District. And I remember when you had the lead in Hello Dolly, and we got a standing ovation for that show. And I saw the light in your eyes, and I knew that's what you were going to do the rest of your life.
Goodman says Miss Rethwish actually had to fight to get him cast. He says he was a, quote, D-list actor back then. Al Roker reminded him now he has 100 acting credits to his name. His response?
Let's not go nuts.
For 9 consecutive years, singer-songwriter Lionel Richie topped the charts. Now he's planning a summer stop in St. Louis.
Uni President Kofi Coleman says he knows exactly how he'll be spending his day.
You will see me singing along all night long, obviously. And every other Lionel Richie classic, I don't even realize I know all the words to, or I pretend to know all the words to. When you have someone like that that's got such a long catalog, it's just an amazing time to see.
Coleman says these concerts tend to be plenty of fun for local community members.
Last summer when we had Diana Ross and John Baptiste, at one point I turned around and watched the audience just sing along. When you see 10,000 people belting their favorite tune as if they're the one on stage, there's something exciting about that. So you will certainly see me doing my best impression of being someone that can actually sing, but that's what it's all about, having a good time with the people that you know and love, your friends and family around you.
So now all that's left to do is get your hands on some tickets.
So get in line. I get your tickets. They'll be online. I'd get online on May 18th. We expect to sell out, but we have tickets starting at $75 and all the way up for VIP packages. And of course, like I said, we'll have a free seat lottery.
Ivy Lyons, KMOX News.
It's 7:56.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year, this year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down, 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation. which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, St. Louis, need to sell your home fast? The Gelman team with eXp Realty can make you an instant cash offer in just 24 hours. No showings, no repairs, no waiting. Visit thegelmanteam.com or give them a call at 314-336-1991.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Well, let's see how things are moving on the roads for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our jam on the Illinois side, unfortunately, Megan. Westbound 64, the crash before Route 50, exit 14 is still having traffic jam back through Greenmount Road. Northbound 55 is just a little busy. River to Pair up through Virginia, that looks a little bit better. North 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravel, like midway to 44 slow. Manchester up to Clayton Road. Those ramps coming off 64 to North 270 are still backed up, eastbound more so than westbound now. South 270, Olive de Ladue, that's a little heavy. Eastbound 64, a little slow at the Interbelt. Westbound 64 from about Clayton Skinker headed out to Hanley. That's heavy right now as well, but otherwise the rest of these interstates continue to roll along for you on this Friday morning. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday. It is May the 1st. I'm Debbie Monterrey. No work, no school, no shopping. That's the call from protesters this May Day. Learn more after the news.
I'm Megan Lynch. At 8:24, we look back on a turbulent week in the news in case you missed it.
Will you get your kicks on Route 66 on the 100th anniversary? Listen for more on the start of celebrations for the Mother Road's centennial.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A cool day today with the sunshine and some clouds at times, the high 61.
In CBS News, the White House pushes back against today's deadline for Congress to decide whether to extend the Iran war. Make sure you stay with KMOX for more of that. We'll get an update on traffic again in 10 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. This is day 60 of the Iran war. That triggers a provision of the War Powers Act requiring Congress to vote on continued fighting. But President Trump and Defense Secretary Hegseth insist it's not needed because the war is on hold. Meantime, many Democrats are worried about the price. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
The Pentagon officials testified that the cost of the war was about $25 billion, but our Ellie Watson and Olivia Gazis have reported that it's actually closer to $50 billion. And the reason why it is that price tag is because the Pentagon is factoring in the cost of the damage and destruction so far at some of the U.S. bases in the region, also the Reaper drones that have been lost.
Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari's just warned interest rate hikes could be needed soon if price shocks from the war are larger than expected. One of those shocks is the price of gas, and it's making driving painfully expensive. The national average for a gallon of regular has jumped 9 cents from yesterday to $4.39 a gallon. In California, these drivers are paying an average of $6.06.
Don't even want to think about the whole cost of filling up my tank.
It just keeps going up.
Some people choosing not to drive at all, maybe stay home.
President Trump predicts a rapid drop is on the way. The shutdown at the Department of Homeland Security is officially over. Republicans have voted to end the standoff with Democrats and deal with their demands for changes to immigration enforcement separately. Correspondent Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
76 days of delays, furloughs, and frustration. Some 7-hour airport security lines and members of the Coast Guard about to go unpaid as soon as today.
Technical glitches are plaguing
exams Wednesday. Others got in but were kicked offline during the test. There is no backup paper exam. The firm that developed the digital test blamed a problem with the server, which has been fixed, but some schools statewide have yet to reschedule the tests, which are not required for students to move on to the next grade. Schools have until May 15th to administer the tests. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Our CBS Morning Studios filled with young students hanging out with the Artemis II astronauts, among them pilot Victor Glover.
How did it feel to be the first person of color to fly to or around the moon?
If you think about that can add pressure and make you not, go up there and play your best game. And so I focused a lot on working with this team and trying to be a good teammate, trying to be a good teammate to them and also receive from them their good teamwork.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
Sunny skies, 49 degrees at 8:03. Today is Friday, May 1st. I'm Megan Lynch. We've been telling you for a year about problems with the Postal Service. Now, 2 local members of Congress say they're doing something. It comes after hundreds of pieces of undelivered mail were found dumped in a north side lot this week, some postmarked as far back as January. The St. Louis Postal Accountability and Reform Act, introduced by Representatives Wesley Bell and Ann Wagner, would require USPS to benchmark its performance against national averages and report on corrective actions. Bell says constituents have been dealing with this for years. Gary from Hardin, Illinois, one of them.
It's a systemic thing that's been going on for quite a while, and it's gotten to where we just use UPS now. We can't use the mail service anymore.
Congressman Bell says constituents have been waiting weeks for prescription medications and benefit checks. St. Louis County Police asking for your help in a fatal hit and run. 66-year-old Mark Ryan was killed yesterday after being hit by a car while riding his bike in the 2200 block of Hudson Drive. Investigators believe Ryan was hit while riding his bike just before 8:30 in the morning. He later died in the hospital. Police now asking residents to help find the suspect's vehicle. If you spot a black 2014 Chevrolet Sonic with tinted windows and damage to the front driver's side door, you're asked to call county police or Crime Stoppers. I-64 will get more than just a facelift next year. MoDOT has announced large-scale construction plans that will start next year. Area engineer Jen Wade says it fixes or replaces 12 St. Louis bridges, including replacing eastbound I-64. It'll wrap up in 2029.
For 1 year of that, we need to have all 3 lanes of the eastbound 64 through movement closed. So we'll be detouring traffic onto the city grid for about a year.
Wade says several alternative routes and detours have been planned. Tonight's meeting is a chance for residents to voice their concerns.
The closure will only be in one direction, which means we've got a great advantage. Usually both directions get closed, and so it's harder to manage traffic in both directions.
The Loop Trolley running on the track Thursday for the first time this season. Jade Aubrey was there.
I'm currently standing in front of the pageant on Del Mar Boulevard, which is one of the 10 stops the westbound Loop Trolley makes. The trolley's open 11 to 7, Thursdays through Sundays through October, and it's free for St. Louis residents to ride.
The season runs through October 25th. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's superheroes flying away from Six Flags St. Louis.
The future of the DC Comics theming is still up in the air at what's eventually going to be renamed as Mid-America Park. Enchanted Parks took it over earlier this year, and CEO James Harhide tells KMOX his team inherited the licensing deal when they took over. Six Flags actually gave Enchanted an exception to keep the characters long term, but only at the St. Louis parks. So now they're figuring out, is it worth the expensive cost?
We're going to meet with DC throughout the summer and make sure that it's a good relationship going forward and it provides value.
Harhide says one test case will be the upcoming Supergirl movie. The park already has a Supergirl ride, and he says a promotional tie-in with Warner Brothers could be exactly the kind of return that justifies a deal. If they keep the licensing, St. Louis would be one of the few in the world non-Six Flags parks to have Warner Brothers. If they don't keep it, you can start suggesting new names for the Batman and Mr. Freeze. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
6 blocks at Page and Hodemont in the city being dedicated to changing the lives of St. Louis families, starting with kids. The Show Me Family Zone will eventually include a community center, community garden, refurbished housing, and a grocer. Cortega Collins, founder and executive director of the Foundation for Strengthening Families, tells KMOX the community needs more childcare options, especially for parents who work non-traditional hours.
They don't have quality, developmentally appropriate options for their children.
The foundation already operating a new early learning center and adult daycare in the neighborhood. The Show Me Family Zone recently received funding to build a preschool dedicated to boys. From the KMOX business desk, a plant-forward eatery in Kirkwood closing. Station number 3 on Manchester Road will close after service May 9th. It opened almost 2 years ago in the location formerly occupied by Chicken Out. According to St. Louis Magazine, high rent led to the decision to close. It's now 8:08. Coming up on Total Information AM, you've heard of the May Day protests. We're going to talk with WashU sociologist Andy Andrews, a professor of arts and sciences, about some of the history of May Day protests and what to expect this year. It's now 8:08. Traffic and weather together next.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
There are many reasons to hire Morgan & Morgan for your injury case. Here's reason 17. In today's new world, many law firms have had money injected into their firms by Wall Street, private equity, and other lenders. This money usually comes in at very, very high interest rates. It's one of the reasons you see so many lawyers advertising. I'm John Morgan. This money is expensive and the interest compounds quickly. These law firms can have a huge need for cash just to pay that debt. Why does it matter to you? My fear is your case is settled early and for far less than it's worth, just to service the loan that has mafia-like rates. Our financial strength is your advantage. That plus our reputation makes our firm your firm. Visit forthepeople.com to see our results and verdicts. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's see how the morning push is going and what may be getting in your way. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's not a whole lot out there, Megan, which is great. Friday mornings tend to be a better run, and it looks like they may have cleared that crash westbound 64. I'm starting to see the front end of that jam opening up as you approach exit 14, which is US 50 Lincoln Trail, but there's still a jam back through Greenmount, but it's opening up about midway through, so it looks better than it has for the bulk of the morning. It's been out there for probably close to an hour, I would think, by now. Northbound 270, there's still a little slowdown north of Gravois, Manchester up through Clayton Road, and then those ramps coming from 64 on North 270 still backed up, especially the eastbound ramp. Eastbound 64, other than that's just a little slow. 170 through Hanley, westbound 64, Clayton Skinkrat to Hanley is pretty busy as well. But again, these interstates are pretty light on the Friday, so the rest of them are looking great for you right now. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Sunny to partly cloudy today and quite cool for this time of the year. High 61, partly to mostly cloudy and chilly tonight. Watch out for a shower, low 45. Intervals of clouds and sun and quite cool again tomorrow with a passing shower, high 60. For Sunday, more sunshine, breezy, much warmer for the afternoon, high 78. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now we have sunny skies, 49 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Activists worldwide will march in May Day rallies today. By some estimates, the number of marches and boycotts expected to double in the United States compared to last year. The mantra, no work, no school, no shopping. Let's get some context from Washington University sociologist Kenneth Andy Andrews, the Tileston Professor of Arts and Science. Thanks for joining me this morning here on KMOX.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Could you give us a little background of the May Day actions? I think a lot of people may just be hearing about this year because it's gaining some ground here in the United States, but this has been going on for years worldwide.
That's right. It dates back to the late 19th century to protests in Chicago, the Haymarket Affair, that was a press for the 8-hour workday. And out of that became established a sort of an annual celebration, which cross-nationally is typically referred to as International Workers' Day. Often, in many countries, it's a public holiday, but has been much more modest in the U.S. in terms of the tradition of protest.
Why do you think we're seeing so much more momentum this year?
Well, I think there's a number of factors. Certainly the political context, extraordinarily high level of unpopularity of the Trump administration and its policies in Iran, and the economic consequences of that have helped to fuel some of the opposition. Certainly the protests in Minneapolis around ICE and elsewhere helped, I think, to establish some of the motto that's being used here, and a sort of more assertive style of protest that we're starting to see taking place.
Is this extending now beyond just the labor movement? One of the slogans this year is workers over billionaires, but does it go beyond unions?
It appears to, in terms of there's religious organizations, civic groups, various kinds of progressive or democratic organizations that are part of the sort of organizing behind these protests. And I would expect some of the same kinds of organizations that have been central to the No Kings protests and some of the earlier protests related to opposition to the Trump administration.
I saw a banner over one of the overpasses on 64 the other day. It said, no work, no school, no shopping for May Day as a part of this. When we look at that kind of strategy, do those kind of boycotts actually work?
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by work. The kind of potential to have a real substantial economic disruption is modest. And I suspect the larger strategy is to have a sort of a momentary kind of symbolic display and continue to try to build more momentum around a sort of a larger political mobilization aiming towards the midterm elections and beyond. So in terms of real sort of shutting down businesses is likely to be relatively limited.
You mentioned the No Kings protests. Are there any other modern comparisons to this kind of general strike strategy?
Well, some of it, I think, there's taking inspiration from the large-scale protests that occurred in Minneapolis that sort of aim to similarly suspend or limit economic activity in schools for short periods of time. So some of it is coming from there, for sure. The larger strategy of organizing these coordinated days of widespread protests is one that we've been seeing lots and lots of movements and campaigns around. In terms of May Day, probably the best recent exemplar would be the protests around the Day Without Immigrants in 2006, which was coordinated for May Day and was part of a larger wave of immigrant protest against a restrictive bill that was under consideration in Congress at the time.
Kind of makes me think of the Occupy movement, too, more than a decade ago.
Yes, certainly with the themes of about billionaires and billionaires, people over billionaires, that language and that approach is very much in the spirit of the Occupy movement with its focus on the 1%.
You mentioned, this leading up to the midterms. What are you watching for when it comes to public actions like this over the coming months before we get to November?
Well, I suppose one way to pay attention here will be, how this the kind of messaging and energy gets taken up by Democratic candidates and the extent to which some sort of keep their distance from the protests and so forth. And so I think there's that will be one of the places where this kind of activism in the streets can potentially register and sort of change the dynamics to the extent that political leaders take up the kind of more assertive demands and strategies and language around billionaires and so forth.
How well overall, though, do movements like this translate to people actually going to the ballot box to vote?
That's a great question. There's many things that affect people's sort of voting decisions, and a lot of those are sort of highly baked in terms of people's sort of ongoing loyalties to different political parties. It matters a lot around the timing too, that the sort of impacts of these protests and depend on can depend on really sort of their proximity to an election. So the George Floyd protests, for example, seem to have really helped boost Democratic support, even though they may have had some offsetting effects on opposition or Republican support. So it's too early, certainly, to track what might happen, the electoral impact of one particular moment of protest like this. But there's at least some indication that it can help on the margins for the push or advance political parties' fate in an election.
As you mentioned, these May Day protests are taking place on International Workers' Day. When we look at some of the labor groups that are part of this and we look at the power of labor, where do we stand today as far as labor organizations and their political power compared to past decades?
Well, certainly it's been in a long period of relative decline in the U.S. in terms of the relative importance of different kinds of labor movements here. I think it's noteworthy that the National Education Association is playing a very prominent role. The sort of service workers unions, these have been sort of sites of where some of the kind of organizing energy and opposition have come from. Like you look in North Carolina, where there seems to be a really strong mobilization, a number of school districts closing down because of the number of teachers who are going to be rallying in the state capitol around this. So it's, the long-term context is certainly one of decline, but it still remains a powerful political organization because of the ways in which it can tap into sort of a key constituency to get them out and activated.
Professor, thanks so much. We're out of time. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is WashU sociologist Andy Andrews joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, we've got our segment, in case you missed it, where we go over some of the top headlines from this week here in the St. Louis area. And then at 8:31, Nick Chabaria from AAA is going to join us. Of course, the centennial celebration for Route 66 is kicked off in Springfield, Missouri this week. We'll get details and talk about how many people may hit the Mother Road this year. Time for a check of the roads that you're on this morning with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, coincidentally enough, this traffic reports the service of the Missouri History Museum's Route 66 Centennial Celebration Festival taking place now through May 3rd. If you're heading out on the highways, there's still no change. I thought it was getting a little better at the front end, but I still see this jam. So there's obviously still restrictions. The crash westbound 64 before you get to exit 14, US 50 there, the Lincoln Trail. It's still jammed back through Greenmount Road, so it's still bumper to bumper south through there. There's a bumper to bumper back up on the ramp, south 170 getting on eastbound 64, and eastbound 64 170 into Big Bend is slow. Westbound 64 Big Bend to Hanley a little busy. North 270 a little heavy in the right lanes approaching Clayton Road, and those ramps from 64 getting on to North 270 still backed up. Eastbound's jammed. Westbound, those right lanes slow at about Ballast, but the rest of these highways are looking good. Don't miss the Route 66 Festival at the Missouri History Museum, April 30th through May 3rd. Music from Sweetie and the Toothaches, a classic car show, neon display, kids crafts, and more. Schedule at mohistory.org/festival. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny skies today. We may see a few clouds. It'll be cool with a high of 61. Right now, sunny skies 49 downtown at the Arch.
Here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laderman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Make Cinco de Mayo delicious with Easy Cater, the easiest way to order food from favorite restaurants for all your celebrations. From April 27th through May 5th, every order placed earns you 1,000 bonus rewards points. Whether you're looking for traditional favorites like tacos and tortas, festive options like a build your own nacho bar, or hosting a breakfast fiesta with huevos rancheros and breakfast burritos, Easy Cater makes food for Cinco de Mayo a cinch. Order now at easycater.com with promo code Cinco de Mayo 26. Restrictions apply. See offer details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
In case you missed it, Total Information AM looks back at the biggest stories that crossed our news desk this week. It all started with stormy weather, a system Monday morning that stretched from Canada to the southern plains.
St. Louis is prime conditions to see the most explosive thunderstorms in not just one round.
That's AccuWeather's Tyler Royce. After days of weather models showed the storms could be severe and hit during afternoon school dismissal and evening rush, schools and other organizations closed early. There were tornadoes confirmed later in the week, but some experts were questioning whether warning the public about safety turned into hype.
In my book, this was classic St. Louis late April thunderstorms.
Meteorologist Dave Murray expressed his concern that the storm was being billed as one of the worst possible this season, a whole week out.
I think modeling has gotten out of control. A lot of so-called forecasting, you're just looking at models. You're looking at computer outputs, and that's not forecasting.
The big concern is that it will lead to storm fatigue. It's been nearly a year since May 16th tornado that devastated neighborhoods in our region. Many homeowners and businesses aren't close to rebuilding. Now we're in the midst of another stormy spring.
I have to be completely honest. I am worried about the mental health impact of what we're seeing right now.
Selma Abdallah is an assistant professor in the School of Public Health at WashU in St. Louis. Abdallah says the mental health effects of destructive storms can be seen years after an event. It was a turbulent opening to the season at Six Flags St. Louis. Nearly 36 officers responded to fights between teenagers. The new owners, Enchanted Parks, had tried to open without a chaperone policy.
We have a very limited set of patients when it comes to unruly behavior.
CEO James Harhide.
I want to be inclusive and allow kids to come and be kids and have a good time. But if the market proves that they can't behave themselves, then we'll probably have to follow the trend that's going around the industry.
And now there is a chaperone policy at Six Flags St. Louis. There's still turmoil over the St. Louis City police budget. An overall budget advance to the Board of Aldermen. It includes a 7% pay raise for police officers mandated by the state-controlled police board a few weeks ago. Mayor Kara Spencer says the final spending plan manages to absorb the police raises without sacrificing basic municipal services.
This budget does a few other things. One, it really balances services that we need to keep providing our citizens while recognizing the raises that the police board passed about 6 weeks ago.
President of the Board of Aldermen, Megan Green.
I want to make it clear that the budget we are adopting is not the budget that SLM or that the police board asked us to adopt. We are adopting our own budget for the parameters that we think creates the best outcomes for our city when it comes to both public safety through a policing lens and through a social services lens.
The city's top financial officer withholding her support for that proposed St. Louis budget. Controller Donna Behringer abstained from Tuesday's vote.
I was here in 2008 when we had to furlough all the city employees, and I absolutely don't want to see that happen again.
By midweek, the dispute had escalated again at the police board between Mayor Spencer and police board president Chris Saraceno.
The lack of transparency and communication is unfortunate.
I'm going to. The transparency, the accusations of this body of being non-transparent is not going to be allowed to be articulated in this particular situation.
Mr. Saraceno, I'm allowed to articulate whatever I'd like.
There are still questions whether unspent funds allocated by the state-run police board can be used under city law. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
8:30. Let's see if things are winding down on the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, overall, it hasn't been a bad Friday morning, Megan. Pretty light, like most Friday mornings are. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. The one place we stalled this jam, though, is westbound 64, backed up bumper to bumper, approaching Greenmount. In fact, it's almost midway, not quite midway back to 158, but it's definitely approaching Greenmount up to exit 14, US 50 there in O'Fallon, bumper to bumper from that earlier injury crash. I believe they said one of our Kenworth commuters said the vehicles were pretty heavily damaged. The ramps from eastbound 60 and westbound 64 onto North 270 still backed up. The right lane's actually slow at Spady on westbound 64. Eastbound 64 a little slow at the Interbelt. South 170 just kind of busy coming down from the U Club Tower. Otherwise, these interstates are looking good. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we're expecting sunny skies today. We could see a few clouds and it'll be cool, a high of 61. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, chilly with a shower in spots, an overnight low of 45. Right now, sunshine 49 downtown at the Arch. This year marks the 100th anniversary of one of America's most iconic highways. AAA expects a lot of people to drive parts of the Mother Road this year during the centennial celebration for Route 66. We find AAA Missouri's Nick Chabaria at the kickoff celebration in Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, good morning. It's great to be on.
How many people say they're going to drive Route 66 this year?
Well, AAA did a survey late in 2025 around the Route 66 centennial celebration and found that just over 40% of Americans plan to cruise the Mother Road during the 2026 centennial year. And even more said they would after learning about the upcoming centennial. So we know there's a lot of excitement around this centennial celebration, and we're at the epicenter right now here in Springfield, Missouri.
I looked at some of those stats. It's interesting to see how many people are going to use their own car or even RV or even rent a car. What are you hearing about that?
Yeah, there's so many options in how you cruise Route 66, that could really fit any type of itinerary or any type of mode of transportation. So vast majority of folks, about 63%, are expected to drive their personal vehicle. 41% will join a group or private tour. There's plenty of those going on, especially during this centennial year. And then about a little less than a third plan to rent a car as well. About 20% will travel by motorcycle, and 18% will use an RV or camper. So plenty of options no matter how you want to see this historic highway.
What are some of the top landmarks to visit, especially in our area?
Yeah, well, of course, certainly we have the Arch in St. Louis is, one of the premier stops for folks traveling the route. Of course, Merrimack Caverns are popular as well. And then as we, get a little farther west, the famous Blue Whale in Oklahoma. And then there's a great Route 66 museum in Oklahoma. So even if you're not planning to travel the whole length of the route from Chicago to Santa Monica, which is just over 2,000 miles, there's plenty of great day trips right from the St. Louis area that you can go check out on the historic Mother Road.
What's the significance of Springfield, Missouri being the point for this kickoff celebration?
Yeah, Springfield is home to the national kickoff for the centennial celebration, and it really stems from where Route 66 got its name. A telegram was sent in on April 30th, just yesterday, in 1926 from a hotel in Springfield, Missouri, to federal officials suggesting the name Route 66 for the road. So it really is, historic significance here. Right in our own backyard, and there's been a great celebration going on starting yesterday, and it'll continue through the weekend. Today there'll be a historic car parade with vehicles from every decade from the Mother Road. AAA will be entering a remodeled 1926 Dodge service truck, and it would be reminiscent of the service truck that drivers would receive assistance from in the early years of Route 66.
Well, Nick, thanks so much. Have fun out there.
Hey, happy to be on. Thank you.
That is AAA Missouri's Nick Chabaria joining us from the Mother Road here on KMOX. We'll have your money report next.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's an annual tradition that has Wall Street focused on Omaha, Nebraska. The Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting is this weekend. Keep in mind, Berkshire shares have underperformed the S&P 500 since legendary investor Warren Buffett announced he was retiring a year ago. The company's market value has declined $139 billion over that time. Recent hits related to holdings such as Kraft Heinz can explain some of the rough patch. Warren Buffett's longtime deputy Greg Abel currently runs Berkshire. The S&P 500 finished April at a record high. The benchmark surged 10% last month. The momentum has been fueled by shares tied to artificial intelligence. Futures are building on those gains. And Walmart is expanding its assortment of local products, a move to draw more shoppers. The company has accelerated its push in recent months to offer more regional-specific items in Texas, Florida, and other markets. Local products can attract more shoppers. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve Auld of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6. Right here on KMOX.
Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin.
Curative, that's a complex decision that involves what we call multidisciplinary care. So that involves a surgeon, a medical oncologist, radiation oncologist. So you need the expertise, and that's something that we have here at Siteman, especially geared for these esophageal cancer patients.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. Visit siteman.washu.edu.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, I finally got an update from IDOT just right after we did our last report about this crash I've been talking about for, it seems like more than an hour. It's been quite a while. Westbound 64 before you get to exit 14, US 50. The 2 left lanes are blocked, IDOT said. So there's a jam back through Green Mountain. It's almost midway back to 158. Really, it is from there up to exit 14, bumper to bumper, 2 left lanes closed. And IDOT's anticipating a clearance time of 11 a.m. So it's still going to be out there for maybe a couple more hours. Hopefully they'll get it wrapped up sooner than that. But it's been trouble all morning. And that's the only big trouble spot we have. We still have the backups on the ramps. 64 getting onto North 270. Westbound, the right lanes are actually backed up at Spady. Other than that, eastbound 64 is just a little slow past the inner belt. I'm also seeing a little bit of a slowdown on westbound 370 west of Elm Newtown. Next, I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Summer's here. Is your backyard ready? If you missed the spring rush, Artistic Decks can still make it happen. From premium wood to maintenance-free composite, get the quality you deserve. Don't wait. Call Artistic Decks today at 314-280-0821.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning. Happy, glorious weather Friday out there, John Hancock.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Couldn't afford to live here if it was like this the entire year, could we?
No, but the traffic's not bad.
Hey, we're going to start off right away with a guest talking about the governor's proposal as it relates to the income tax.
We are indeed. Joining us right now in the celebrity guest line is Aaron Hedlund. He's a member of President Trump's Council of Economic Advisors, and he joins us this morning. Aaron, welcome to KMOX. And Missouri contemplating eliminating the state income tax. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, great to join you. And I'd say it's a generational opportunity and also a practical plan. Because the reality is, if you look at Missouri's economic performance over the past 25 years, much of that time we've been bottom 10. So this policy is all about growing the pie. And the income tax is unfortunately the most damaging type of tax you can have because it punishes productivity, it punishes innovation, punishes business expansion. So the White House Council of Economic Advisors, we actually released a report back in January that found that if Missouri were to do this, the average worker would see their paycheck grow by nearly $3,000. And that's not because less taxes coming out, although that's true too. It's because literally they'd be getting paid more because we'd be a more economically prosperous state.
And, you know, if you look across the country, there's a number of states that have eliminated their state income tax, and to every single one of them has benefited. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, we're basically left in the dust when you compare to states like Texas, states like Florida. I actually like Tennessee is the best comparison because sometimes people will shrug off Florida and say, oh, it's got beaches, or Texas has oil. You know, those are somewhat unfair comparisons, but Tennessee, really, you can't do that. And 70% more Missourians moved to Tennessee than the other way around. So the reality is people are voting with their feet. And if we want to make sure that Missouri is a state where families can start and grow and people can start and kind of have their whole career here, this is the sort of policy we need to do.
Less than a decade ago, our neighbors to the west, Kansas, implemented this strategy of doing away with the state income tax. The Republicans passed it, and in a couple of short years, wound up reimposing it. How is this going to be different than the experiment that Kansas had?
Yeah, similar goals, totally different roadmaps to get there. So when Kansas did this, first of all, they did it by creating a big loophole. They allowed some income to be taxed at zero and some not to be taxed at zero. So it kind of created this gamesmanship situation. They also didn't control their budget at all. So it was kind of like a flying blind to seeing what would happen. What makes this plan, Missouri's plan, way more practical than that is it's based on revenue triggers. It says that we're going to limit how fast government can grow because unfortunately government has been growing in Missouri at more than twice the rate of inflation. So it kind of puts a limit on that and says that as revenues grow, we're going to tick down the income tax rate. So getting a budgetary hole is literally an impossibility from this particular plan.
Our guest is Aaron Hedlund. He's a member of the White House Council of Economic Advisors talking about Missouri's proposal to eliminate the state income tax. Opponents of this reform, Aaron, would argue that the imposition of sales taxes to replace the revenue is going to be harmful for middle income taxpayers. Is that true?
No, I'd say there's a couple of key things. First of all, nothing automatically changes the sales tax at all. What it does is it authorizes the legislature to replace some of the income tax revenue with some very, very strong protections for people. Number one, every single dollar of new sales tax revenue that would come in would have to be offset by at least $1 of income tax reduction. Moreover, at the local level, you would also be getting local sales tax rate reductions or local property tax reductions. So it's a very strong protection. Jefferson City could not spend any increases. Secondly, it's not about, if they do change the sales tax, it wouldn't be about raising the rate. It would be about having a fairer base to the sales tax. Because right now, the sales tax base is entirely on goods, which low-income people disproportionately spend their money on. Meanwhile, wealthy people who spend a lot of money on services, that doesn't get taxed by the sales tax. So that's why the core proposal here is one where the overall tax burden is lower, it's fairer, and the economic pie gets bigger.
The last question, are other states in the same kind of position as Missouri where they're considering getting rid of the state income tax?
Absolutely. Now, I think if we do this would push us to the front of the pack because it's a very practical but bold proposal. But people are nipping at our heels. If we do not take action, then unfortunately we're going to places like Arkansas. I mean, Tennessee's already ahead of us. And Mississippi has also been very aggressive on this front. So this is about competing and winning. And it's a huge opportunity for the state.
That's Aaron Hedlund. He's with the White House Council on Taxes. Thanks so much for taking some time to visit with us today. John Hancock, we're going to step aside. When we come back, I got some things to say about what we just heard.
You got some thoughts.
Stay tuned. It's Hancock and Kelley right here on the Mighty Mighty Mocs.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX and my official sportsbook as well. And I just want to brag for a second and say that I have been with FanDuel longer than the state of Missouri. I've been playing when I've been out of town for a long, long time, a lot of years. It's a blast. And it's because they're always bringing something, right? Whether it was March Madness a while ago or the beginning of baseball season, there's always something going on. And right now, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. So we'll be talking about special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and a whole lot more than that. And the best part, it's every single day. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for prime time, just make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's there waiting for you on every given day. Head to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And FanDuel, of course, is an official partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Each year in St. Louis, 10 women are recognized for volunteer leadership that changes lives. They support families, strengthen communities, and create opportunities where they're needed most. Join us Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton for the 2026 Women of Achievement Awards Luncheon. Celebrate their impact and be part of a tradition more than 70 years strong. Reservations available at WOASTL.org. For more information, go to KingdomOX.com/events.
And welcome back to the Hancock and Kelley Show. John, last night was a night out on the town for you, huh?
Well, not on the town. I was in the house.
What was going on?
Well, my lovely wife.
Yes. St. George Ann.
Yes. Celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had some of her very closest friends and then our whole family. John Jr., the NFL insider, was in town.
Yeah.
And both of the grandkids. And so we had a celebration at the house.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Good for her.
Yes.
Georgianne, what, 41 years old this year. Congratulations. Happy birthday, Georgianne.
She's still younger than I am.
Okay, let's talk about this. So we just heard one of the things the Economic Council of Advisors, or whatever the heck he was with the White House, who was shilling for the getting rid of the income tax in the state of Missouri, said government's been growing at a rapid pace in Missouri over the last couple of decades. John Hancock, who has been running government for the last 20 years in Missouri?
It's actually been in the last 5 years.
Okay, who's been running government in the last 5 years?
Well, Republicans have. And Republicans, look, I'm not going to defend spending by the Republican Party. It's been out of control in Congress. It's been out of control in the state. And much of it, much of the recent spending spree is a result of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you saw was a pretty massive expansion of the size of state government in recent years, and
brought to you by Missouri Republicans.
Well, look. If you're thinking the Democrats are going to be help in curbing spending,
we're
you're
irrelevant
wrong.
In Jefferson City.
You are.
No, I love to hear about Republicans. The Democrats are growing government. They're raising taxes. Blah blah blah. You've been cutting taxes for 20 years.
No,
you
we
all
haven't
been increased population in this state.
Well, we haven't
now
been
you have this
cutting taxes
convoluted
for 20
process.
years.
What was interesting to me is he kept saying that there is a plan that makes this different in Kansas.
Yes.
What? Exactly how is that plan executed? Because they still haven't told us how they're going to replace the revenue, whether it's going to be sales tax, raise on services. No. That's you just hypothesizing.
No,
there's nothing written out in this plan as to what we're going to do. No, it could be a raise in property taxes. It could be a raise in
property
fees.
taxes.
It could be a raise in use taxes that could take place.
This is, and I will grant you this, that because the plan hasn't been spelled out, people like you, Kelley, can take every boogeyman imaginable and apply it to this. The income tax is going to be replaced over a period of 5 years with sales tax and cuts in government spending.
Oh, how are we not supposed to think the worst when we have, as we just admitted, that Republicans are growing the size of government? There's an admission that no, they haven't laid out what the plan's going to look like, and then you're upset with me, and those on the right are upset with me for pointing out simple things that could happen as a result of this. If they're not going to happen, why aren't they in the plan?
Well, I think what you will see, this thing's going to be on the ballot either in August or November. I think you're going to see the replacement revenue plans put forth for the voters, because so they can make an informed decision at the ballot box. But getting rid of the state income tax, getting rid of an income tax is going to put more money in the pockets of all of us. And as we know empirically from the 11 states that have no state income tax, economic growth is going to ensue.
All right. So one of the things that I've always seen when Republicans are out advocating for cutting of taxes, one of the biggest groups out there supporting them are business groups, the Missouri Chamber, lots of these types of business groups. Well, because there's not a plan that's laid out here as to how this revenue is going to replace, a lot of the business groups are sitting on the sidelines. You all are arguing that this is going to bring commerce and opportunity to the state of Missouri. Why wouldn't the Chamber of Commerce be leading this charge? I'll tell you why, John. Because you're going to be raising taxes on businesses that currently exist in the state of Missouri, imposing new taxes on them, and they're fearful as to what this is going to look like without a plan. Now, I've already go ahead.
Raising the sales tax is not a tax on businesses. It just isn't. And
but taxes on goods and services are.
No.
If you're a business and all of a sudden you have a law firm that you utilize, your prices are going to go up because now you're going to be using that law firm and paying on it.
You are correct about that.
If you're buying toilet paper for your business, some of the biggest businesses here in town, now that stuff's all going to get increased. The reason I use those is one is a big business expense and the other one is a big business and regular person expense. And this is all just up in the air. We're being told, hey, let's jump off a cliff into this pool of water that we don't know how deep it is. We're going to hope everything's okay. And it's going to be different than Kansas, Kelley.
Well, it is because we are phasing it out. And this is going to net whatever is done with the sales tax and service taxes, whatever is done with that. Net, the average Missourian is going to come out substantially ahead in terms of the amount of money they spend. And let's not forget that the sales tax, our second largest industry in this state, is tourism. And so a significant chunk of sales taxes are paid by non-Missouri residents. Zero income tax in Missouri is paid by non-Missouri residents.
What's our number one industry in the state of Missouri?
Agriculture.
And what are they going to do on taxes related to agriculture?
I think agriculture, and there's a couple of things that are exempt from.
So we're going to say our number one industry, we're going to exempt that. Our number two industry, that's going to replace what our number one industry is going to do, plus all the other manufacturers and stuff who are going to see increased taxes of this. Do you get how the argument doesn't add up?
No.
By the time this is over,
it completely
all the big
adds up.
special interests are going to get exempted. Who's going to be paying for this are regular people, seniors right now.
Regular people
who are exempt from this are not going to be exempt from this. They're going to see costs increase.
Regular people are going to pay less taxes to the state of Missouri under this plan than they currently pay. That's what is accurate.
I hope that we're going to see this experiment play out here. We're going to watch the Republican Party try to pass something, get rejected by the voters again, and hopefully they'll learn their lesson. That's my good pal, John Hancock. I'm Michael Kelley. We're going to stick around for Chris and Amy show, aren't we?
Yeah, without Amy.
Yep. After this on the Mighty Mighty Mox.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Beyond preventing shingles, the Shingrix vaccine is